The sun rose slow on a broken town. Factories closed, machines shut down. Promises made, but none were kept. Dreams turned to dust while the people wept. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. The tariffs came, they hit like a storm. Families braced to keep their homes warm. A pause was given, a moment to act, but the time was wasted, that's a hard fact. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. Leaders spoke with words so grand, but their hollow deeds we can't withstand. The people begged, the people cried. Now hope's a stranger on this side. Misery's knocking, poverty's near. A future clouded by doubt and fear. If only they'd fought to make things right, we wouldn't be lost in this endless night.
Down by the lot near the old cafe, where the sun fries cars all night and day, there's a wild crew doing what they do. Yeah, you know them, the parking lot crew. Refugees with moves so tight, waving cars in left and right. 10 ways to say, yo, park that straight. 12 for bro, you're 20 late. Neanderthals in safety vests, snack in hand, but doing their best. One grunted loud, broke out in a jig. Turns out he just wants a parking gig. Canines bark like they run the block. Chased a drone down, beat the clock. One gave change with a tail wag spin. That dog's got tips and a toothy grin. Who you gonna call when the lot gets loud? Parking cones up and they're drawing a crowd. Whistles blow and the scooters fly. It's the parking crew and they're riding high. From the streets of town to the lot bazaar, they'll guard your ride like a superstar. Yeah, from Josie streets to America, it's the funky, fearless parking lot crew. Car guard shout near the garbage bin. Who parks skill? You let them in. They blow their whistles in perfect time, like a backup band with a traffic sign. Then here comes Wyatt, the colonel boss. Duct tape boots and a look that's sauce. Rides a scooter with flashing beams, salutes pigeons, yells at ice cream. Men, dogs, apes form a line. No dents, no scrapes, no overtime. If they park like chaos, made a plan. Fight them twice and be the man. Who's got the beat in a vested hat? Parking legends funky like that. Guard your eye with soul and flair, and a hi-fi breeze in the summer air. From this line here to America, it's the wild, proud parking lot crew. safety vests, snack in hand, but doing their best. One grunted loud, broke out in a jig. Turns out he just wants a parking gig. Canines bark like they run the block. Chased a drone down, beat the clock. One gave change with a tail wag spin. That dog's got tips and a toothy grin. Who you gonna call when the lot gets loud? Parking cones up and a drawing a crowd. Whistles blow and the scooters fly. It's a parking crew and they're riding high. From the streets of town to the lot bazaar, they'll guard your ride like a superstar. Yeah, from Jersey streets to America, it's the funky, fearless parking lot crew. Funky, fearless parking lot crew. Car guard shout near the garbage bin. Who parked skill? You let them in. They blow their whistles in perfect time, like a backup band with a traffic sign. Then here comes Wyatt, the colonel boss. Duct tape boots and a look that's sauce. Rides a scooter with flashing beams. Salutes pigeons, yells at ice cream. Men, dogs, apes form a line. No dents, no scrapes, no overtime. If they park like chaos, made a plan. Find them twice and be the man. Find them twice and be the man. Find them twice and be the man. Who's got the beat in a vest and hat? Parking legends funky like that. Guard your ride with soul and flair. In a hi-fi breeze in the summer air. From this line here to America, it's the wild, proud parking lot crew.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hey folks, welcome back. It is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. We're in the backside of the year now, second half of the year. Welcome back to the program. Yeah, that was the Car Guard, the funky, wild Car Guard crew. And so I have an announcement today. Beginning August 1st, I have founded a union. It's the Car Guards of America United for all South African refugees who are forced to work as car guards in America to survive the evil program created by President Trump to help only white farmers. It'll be a tragedy going from being a farmer in South Africa to being simply a car guard at the Mall of America. So the Car Guards of America Union will begin operations on the 1st of August. We will charge you $1,000 per month to be a member, and all that money will go towards my Audi TT. Wait, that's Ronaldo, not me. Anyway, folks, yeah. So look, I mean, there's crazy stuff happening all over the place. People just can't behave themselves. I'm telling you, it's I don't know what to say. It's kind of weird. You know, it's a lot of stuff happening. Don't know if you guys are keeping track of it, but I mean, you know, things just pop up on the screen. People bring the doorbell, aircraft overhead, black helicopters in whisper mode. You know, and that damn rabbit, man, that Hussa keeps showing up. I don't know what's with him. But the Car Guard song, I hope you guys enjoyed that. In the 90 days, of course, because the clock is ticking. We're going to talk about that in the news here in just a few moments. But that damn bunny is everywhere, man. There he is again. There he is again. Yo! Jamaica version. Oh, yeah.
First so clean, move sharp, he's me. Eyes like fire, trolls start to quake. Mess with the bunny,
big mistake.
Bunny protector of peace. Jump into the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Bugger off, bunny protector of peace. Jump into the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Connell's right hand and ears standing tall. One thumb from the foot sends them through the wall. Carrots in the pocket, wisdom in his paw. Trolls see the bunny, drop their jaw. Bounce, 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 bounce. Rhythm don't stop. Trolls try to climb, but the bunny's on top. Guarding the garden, defender of the land. The bugger off bunny with the master plan. Bugger off bunny. Bugger off bunny, protector of peace. Jumping through the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Swift as a shadow, silent in the night. Trolls meet the bunny, then they take flight. Ears like antennas, catching
yeah man. The Jamaica version. Yeah, man, the Bugger Bunny from Jamaica. Straight from Kingston, yeah, man. Yo, got some ganja going there. Yes, the weed, man. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the news now, after all that silliness. Yeah, it is Tuesday, the 1st of July, 2025. It is 12:15 Eastern Standard Time, 6:15 in the evening in South Africa, 5:15 in the United Kingdom, the disunited kingdom. And for those around the world and points further east, welcome back to the program. It's a pleasure to have you join me once again. Lots of drama everywhere, the least of which is related to WhatsApp. We'll stay away from that for the moment. But let's talk about what's going on in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa has no ambassador. Its last ambassador was excused for being a racist. Ibrahim Rasool was sent packing with PNG. I could play the PNG song right now, but I'm not going to do that. Persona non grata. Yeah, he was persona non grata, sent back to South Africa for his remarks in an official capacity as an ambassador representing South Africa, calling the President of the United States a leader of a global white supremacist movement and Americans racist. This is what we get for hosting him in our country. Never called South Africans racist, but this man was the ambassador to the United States and in a public forum called Americans racist and was sent packing. So no ambassador for several months now. President Ramaphosa, in order to deflect attention, appointed a special envoy, Mcebisi Jonas. No reflection of Mr. Jonas. I'm sure he's probably a wonderful person, despite also saying some asinine things about President Trump. But he's not here. He's appointed, 3 months ago? Still not in the United States. In early April, President Trump announced reciprocal tariffs on virtually every country around the world which was using unfair trade practices against the United States. And our cowardly, pathetic, useless, weak-willed, callow, lame politicians had allowed us to be taken advantage of for decades. The Europeans imposing a 10% tariff on our automobile imports, plus a value-added tax in each country, which is a different level, while the United States charged a mere 2.5% duty to import Mercedes and Volkswagens, Porsches, Range Rovers, all these cars from Europe. Hardly fair. South Africa imposed a 75% poultry tariff on our poultry imports to keep us out of the poultry market. Hardly fair. South Africa imposes unreasonable restrictions on pork as if they've got better health conditions than we do, which keeps our pork out of the marketplace. Donald Trump said enough of this nonsense. In early April, he announced reciprocal tariffs on virtually the entire world. Some countries, like Lesotho, were hit very hard. South Africa was hit with a 31% tariff. A couple of days later, after Japan and South Korea sent representatives to the United States to negotiate in good faith a bilateral deal, President Trump agreed to lower the tariffs on all countries around the globe to just 10%. He did so to 10%. So South Africa, since April, has had a 10% tariff on all the goods coming to the country. That 10% tariff is equated to $81 billion in revenue to the U.S. Treasury. Now, that's not the point. The point here is that South Africa had a 10% tariff. Yesterday on Biz News, I heard Helen Zille from the Democratic Alliance state that the reason that South Africa is not facing a 31% tariff now, which they're not, she said the reason they're not facing a 31% tariff on their agricultural products is because John Steenhuisen went to America and negotiated it down. That is an outright fabrication. I'm sorry, nothing but respect for Premier Zille, a brilliant woman, but I don't know who's informing her, but they got their head up the rectum. That is not true. The tariffs were lowered from 31% just a couple days after imposed, back to 10% for a period of 90 days. 90 days, ladies and gentlemen. South Africa had 90 days to get its act together and negotiate in good faith with the United States. No ambassador, no special envoy, no trade representative, no trade delegation, no one talking to Washington. And in fact, they snubbed the United States U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Angola, in Luanda, just down the road, a couple-hour plane flight from Pretoria, not far, a couple hours from Cape Town. You could get there. No head of state, no trade minister, no foreign minister, just low-level delegations went there. And at that summit, they begged the United States for an extension. Guess what? Donald Trump made it very clear 2 days ago. No extensions. You'll be getting a letter. Your tariffs are raising to this level. This is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic. This is not leadership. This is not governance. These are clueless taxpayer leeches. That's what they are. All of them are leeches, serving in office, not serving the people of South Africa. You deserve better, South Africa. You deserve a better America. You deserve a better world. We don't deserve these feckless. You know, when I was younger, as a younger man, I actually thought that people in positions of authority actually knew what the hell they were doing. And you know, I spent decades in uniform dealing with highly talented people who were very deep thinkers, who had vision and thought long term. Now, I dealt with a lot of douches, a lot of idiots in uniform too, but I saw many of people in power who were brilliant and led, only to serve in the Department of State and watch idiots who have no clue about vision, about long term, about planning throughout the U.S. bureaucracy. And I see it everywhere around the world. These people put their pants on the same way you and I do, unless you jump in the air and put them on. They put their skirt on the same way you do. They're not special. They're not wonderful. They're not all-knowing. They're dumb as a box of rocks, many of them. They're just there because they're slightly better looking, have the gift of gab, or somebody likes them. Not because they've qualified, not because they're talented, not because they've achieved anything. Show me what any of these politicians have ever achieved in their life. Show me. Show me. You've got a few examples. People, successful businesses, successful attorneys, successful farmers, but very few. Show me the people in the South African parliament who have a career outside of parliament and achieved a damn thing in their entire life. Show me one thing they've ever done. I'm sure you'll be able to find a handful out of 400. They are not all-knowing. They are idiots, complete idiots. And you deserve better. Your economy is going to be crushed on July 10th. And the pain will be felt by the end of July. By August, the layoffs will be all over South Africa. All over South Africa. All over. 141,000 jobs directly tied to the automobile industry, exports to the United States, gone. All the ancillary businesses that support that, making parts, shipping parts, drawing the resources, manufacturing, all that in South Africa, the benefication of the entire value chain is up like this. Unlike much of Africa, it simply extracts cocoa, extracts cotton, extracts maize, extracts coal, extracts titanium, and ships it to China at commodity prices fluctuate and leave you in perpetual misery. In South Africa, you take all those materials, you make things, you assemble them, you put them together into things, and then you ship the entire product to the United States and get the entire value chain of that product. The devastating consequences of losing that entire value chain are unbelievable. Unbelievable. The stupidity of South African politicians. Well, they fired Andrew Whitfield. We're not going to go to the national dialogue. Seriously? Seriously, you're not going to the national dialogue? Who cares? Who cares? It's a boondoggle. It's a fundraiser for the ANC. It's an event. It's an election event. Seriously. You have a real issue in front of you. A serious issue in front of you. People are dying because of HIV because your corrupt government has stolen trillions of rand and didn't put money in HIV while suckling off the teat of the American taxpayer for 22 years. And people are dying now because you're theft. You just got $1.5 billion more. How much of that $1.5 billion is going to go to help people with HIV for antiretrovirals? Not a penny of it. Your trade is about to implode. And you go to Iran. Your trade is about to implode. And you kiss ass in Moscow with a man who gives you nothing. Putin gives you nothing. 0.4% of your imports come from Russia. Nothing. Nothing. All you get from Russia are prostitutes. Oh, did I just say that? Yes, I did. We remember the yachts and the Russian prostitutes on them. Remember that? Not having a freaking visa. I haven't forgotten that. Unbelievable. And to hear the delusional politicians, Ramaphosa, Ronnie Lamola, Helen Zilla, AGOA. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as it pains me to say this, AGOA is dead. The Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, the most generous trade agreement ever given Africans, and we got nothing for it. Not a damn thing except abuse and called names and called imperialist and called racist by scumbag black supremacists all over Africa. For 25 years, we gave this generous benefit. All we ask is you have good governance and you take care of your own people and adhere to certain conditions, like respect for property rights. And you spit in our face. You spit in our face every day. AGOA is gone. A Democratic-led Congress last year and President didn't want to renew it. The bill was introduced. died, went nowhere. This year, not even introduced in Congress. And we have Helen Zilla, John Steenhuisen, Parks Tao, Ronnie Lamola, and Cyril Ramaphosa running around going, oh, yeah, we're negotiating AGOA. We're talking to the Americans AGOA. Yeah, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Show me the bill. You know, what is that? The movie there with Tom Cruise. Show me the money. Show me the bill. Show me the bill. You don't get AGOA without a bill. It's a law. It's a public law that expires after 5 years. Every 5 years has been renewed since 2000, since the Clinton administration. There's no bill in Congress. Congress will recess shortly. There will be no AGOA. That doesn't mean there won't be one next year, but don't count on it. And you idiots are running around, AGOA, we're negotiating AGOA. You don't know what you're talking about. If you're using the phrase AGOA, talking about negotiating with the United States on trade, you have no idea what you're talking about. These are your stupid politicians. This is what they're doing on your behalf. Sucking a paycheck out of your pocket. And this is how they represent you. They don't know jack. They don't know jack. Unbelievable. I have warned you for 18 months. Get off your ample bum, get a trade representative to Washington, and negotiate a deal because AGOA will die and South Africans need trade benefits. But what did the ANC do? Oh, we're negotiating the government and it's a unity. It's a unity government. No, it's not. It's an ANC-dominated government. Nothing has changed. Expropriation without compensation, letter of the law. National health insurance, letter of the law. The Basic Education Laws Amendment, letter of the law. And now labor restrictions limiting the number of managers in your businesses and private sector to 4% white men. What kind of moron comes up with that stupidity? Only a racist could come up with that. And Cyril Ramaphosa this week has reinforced that. Oh, transformation policies will continue. Yes. Shall we play taps now? Shall we play taps for the South African government? I mean, maybe we can play taps. Well, I've got taps here somewhere. Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. We can play taps. Let me see if I can find it. We just say goodbye to South Africa. Well, it's not there. I can't find it. We'll save it for later. Anyway, we won't play taps now. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Mush is saying, why am I screaming on the people who have seen this crap and coming ready to leave? Because you're not the only one watching, Mush. You're not the only one watching the program. The ANC's watching. DFF trolls are watching. Cockprot 24 is watching. Newsroom Africa's watching. The Daily Maverick is watching. They're all watching. I know they're watching because all of them have slandered me in their stories and lied about me. And many of them have changed their stories after getting the facts wrong after watching my program. And at least 4 occasions this year, I've caught media in South Africa altering their story after the fact and not giving an update after I gave the correct information and they got it wrong. That's why I'm animated here, Morsh. That's why I'm animated here. That's why. Because they watch this program. I may not have 1 million subscribers, but the cockprotters and the fake media do watch this. Stroke. Ha ha ha. You misunderstand passion for anger. All right, so now let's get to the news. That's my opening monologue. Meanwhile, President Trump's big beautiful bill is about to pass in the Senate. Yep. Well, hey. No, don't you dare, buddy. Bob, I said don't do that. Bob, you're embarrassing me. Ugh, did it again. Sorry about that, folks. That's Bob, the bugger off bunny. He just has a mind of his own. He's like South African politicians and American politicians. He just does what he wants. You know, I can't stop him. He does it all the time. After all-night debate, U.S. Senate begins to vote on Trump's $3.3 trillion tax cut bill. Yeah, and they keep calling it $3.3 trillion tax cut bill, but it's actually the budget. When will they start calling this the actual budget? That's what it is. It's the coming. We're actually negotiating a budget. Get this. We haven't done this in like 30 years. We're negotiating a budget to go in effect before the fiscal year starts. What a concept. Isn't that amazing? Yes. U.S. Senate began voting on President Trump's sweeping tax cut and spending bill after an all-night debate that laid bare Republican concerns about the price tag. Senate Republican leader John Thune from Dakota told reporters he thought he had the votes to pass the bill and send it back to the House of Representatives for final approval. He said, I believe we do, but like I said, I'm of Scandinavian origin, and I'm always a bit of a realist, so we'll see what happens. Republicans hold a 53 to 47 seat majority in the Senate. We'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of South Africa is seeking an extension to the trade tariffs. Pause. Yes. South African officials went to Luanda last week in a low-level delegation to ask for an extension. Please, sir, more soup. Please, sir, more soup. We know we haven't negotiated with you. We didn't send an ambassador. We've got no trade representative. But please, sir, I know it's the last minute. We've waited 3 months. But please, be kind, or we'll call you a racist. If you don't give us an extension, we'll call you a racist. Government seeks an extension of Trump tariff deadline to pursue trade deal. South Africa's asked for more time to negotiate a trade deal with U.S. President Donald Trump's administration before his higher tariff regime goes into effect on July 9th. Trump imposed a 31% tariff on U.S. imports from South Africa in April as part of his global reciprocal tariffs before pausing their application for 90 days. South Africa aims to secure a trade deal that would exempt some of its key exports from the tariffs, including cars, car parts, steel, and aluminum. It's offered to buy liquefied natural gas from the U.S. exchange. They aim to secure a trade deal. How are you going to do that? Through clairvoyant? We want a trade deal. We want a trade. These are not the droids you're looking for. This is not the trade deal we want. How are you negotiating a trade deal? You actually have to talk to someone. You have to be in person. You can't, maybe even a Zoom session or Teams. I don't know. You could try that. But you actually have to make an effort. South Africa's made no effort. No effort. None whatsoever. None. 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 It's also seeking a maximum tariff of 10% in the worst case scenario. Yeah, well, that is the worst case scenario because your tariff before was 0 and now it's going to be 10%. Meanwhile, President Trump says, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sending letters to all the trading partners. Here's your letter. You know, instead of Bill Engvall's, here's your sign for stupid people. Hey, for people that don't negotiate trade deals, here's your letter. Donald Trump sent you a dear, I don't know how you do this, well, in this case, a dear Cyril letter, or a dear Keir letter, Keir Starmer. No, we've got to deal with them. So it'll be a dear Olaf for Germany, Olaf Scholz. So no plan to extend the 90-day tariff. Pause. Yeah, Trump says he'll send letters to countries. We're allowing you to shop in the U.S. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. We're not going to make deals with everybody. Some we're just going to send them a letter and say, thank you very much. My people don't want to do it that way. They want to do some of it, but they don't want to make more deals than I would do, Trump said. My goodness. He said the letters would be sent before July 9th. As per Trump's plan, those letters expected to mention, congratulations, we're allowing you to shop in the United States of America. You're going to pay 25%, 35%, 50%, or 10%. Ouch. Ouch. Well, the Democratic Alliance is not playing around, busy with, going after ANC members in Parliament instead of working out trade deals. But then, of course, they don't have any portfolios of note. No DA security cluster, no justice, no police, no intelligence, no military, no foreign affairs, no trade. So I guess they could fix education, except that they got a law they got to adhere to now, passed by the previous legislature called Bella. So I don't know what exactly that young lady's supposed to do, Lindiwe Mazubuku. But the DA, with no portfolios, is busy, filing charges against ANC politicians who are corrupt. Which I'm saying that's not necessary. But what about trade? DA, what? You must. ANC's GNU partner charges Nkabane for lying in Parliament. The DA has laid criminal charges against Higher Education Minister Nobule Nkabane, accusing her of misleading Parliament about the panel for the CETA board. While the DA is playing gaslighting and distractionary attacks over here, they've yet to file charges against Cyril Ramaphosa for Pala Pala or call for a motion no confidence in Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership. Consider that for a moment. BBB, the big, beautiful bill. Political tensions rising in South Africa as Helen Zille defends the DA stance on the government of national unity. Federal Executive Chairperson Helen Zille has defended her party's decision not to leave GNU despite growing tensions with the ANC, accusing the governing party of treating its coalition partners with disrespect and double standards. And she's correct. She's 100% correct in that. In an interview on 702, she said the DA's decision to withdraw from the national dialogue and vote against budget allocation of departments headed by compromised ministers is a commensurate and a serious response to what she describes as unilateral decisions by President Ramaphosa. Of course, the DA didn't oppose these appointments a year ago. They didn't take any actions a year ago when these corrupt people were actually, they haven't become corrupt since they were there. They were already corruption accused last year, most of them. Yet they took no action. Only after Andrew Whitfield was fired and they left him to the dogs did they take action. Credibility is something in short supply with politicians in South Africa. Well, Cyril Ramaphosa doubles down, says empowerment laws are here to stay. Racism is the order of the day in South Africa. The broad-based black economic empowerment enrichment scam has come into sharp focus amid ideological difference between the government and National Unity and its alternative, the Equity Equivalent Investment Program. President Ramaphosa wants to clarify the empowerment laws are here to stay. Well, we love racism. We're going to keep it all the time. You whiteys got away with it during National Party days. We're getting away with it now. President Ramaphosa said the statement comes amid intense lobbying from some opposition parties and the DA, as well as pressure to allow South African-born billionaire Elon Musk's Starlink to trade. Well, a number of these jurisdictions compel foreign investors or multinationals who wish to invest in the economies of these countries or certain sectors of their economy to fully set aside equity stakes in their companies to local entities as prerequisite for operating the country. That is true. That is true, Cyril Ramaphosa, but it's dishonest. It's disingenuous. I'm not aware of any countries that force people to give equity when you go into a foreign country based on skin color. That's what you do, Cyril. You have racist laws that force me to give my equity to someone who's black. Doesn't matter if they have any skills. Doesn't matter if we have an existing business relationship. Doesn't matter if they bring capital. I have to give it to them. I have to give them my equity, or I have to sell it to them. In either case, I must give away part of my company and control of it and my future wealth by building a successful company. And you're doing it not based on the fact that you want indigenization. You're doing it based on racism. So that's a lie, Cyril, and that will be a forthcoming video. Well, Joseph Malema is speaking up, looking for attention. Joseph Malema says they have no reason to complain. The DA should leave the GNU. Of course. EFF leader Joseph Malema has called the DA to leave the government of national unity if it is not serving the party's interest. This comes after DA's withdrawal from the national dialogue. Speaking to the media over the weekend, Malema said the DA shouldn't have entered the GNU if it did not want to take Ramaphosa's orders. Correct. They have no reason to complain. They went into a marriage knowing very well they're going with the ANC corrupt government into a marriage. These are unnecessary threats. If the DA was anti-corruption, the DA was pro-poor, the DA was to ensure that they will restore the dignity of people, they should have allowed the ANC to govern as a minority party. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, mark the date, July 1st, 2025. Julius Malema and Chris Wyatt are 100% in agreement. 100% agreement. Yeah. You can knock me over with a feather right now. He's correct. He's 100% correct. Juju is correct. Yeah. So people in the ANC are complaining about, and this is a response from Helen Zilla about what the motion of no confidence. So this is a flagrant distortion. Quitting the GNU was never on the table at the calm and rational DA FedEx meeting. That's not what I heard. The motion of no confidence here was and remains firmly in the frame of the federal executive. We will up the ante every time that ante is spelled wrong, Helen. It's A-N-T-E. Every time the ANC behaves in an irrational manner, culminating in the nuclear option. Well, the Iron Lady has spoken. The Patriotic Alliance, as I predicted, got their head up Cyril's backside. They will stand with Cyril Ramaphosa. Yeah, surprise, surprise. He did say, it's my president, I love him. The Patriotic Alliance vows to defend Ramaphosa against DA's possible motion of no confidence. Kenny Kanene said he expected DA to walk away from the GNU. Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Kanene has vowed to defend President Ramaphosa against possible motion of no confidence by the DA. DA Leader John Steenhuisen threatened to table motion of no confidence against Ramaphosa. The bottom line is this, folks. The PA doesn't matter in this scheme. They're not the kingmaker here. They're not the kingmaker here. The kingmaker here potentially is the Inkatha Freedom Party with 17 votes in Parliament. Assuming everybody shows up, all 400 people, you just need a majority to unseat the guy. You have to have a quorum. The quorum's 134. You got a quorum. You have a vote, and if the majority wins, the majority wins. And with the votes they have now, which is about 193, without the Inkatha Freedom Party, they can unseat Ramaphosa tomorrow. Every single ANC member must show up. All of them must vote for Ramaphosa. Then they must get the PA's votes, and they need votes from other parties to survive. Ramaphosa is incredibly vulnerable right now, and I don't think he realized it. The Patriotic Alliance, another wing of the ANC. Well, the DA won't stand for ANC corruption. Party to open a case, and they did. They opened the case, as I mentioned. Mercedes says their East London plant shut down. It's just standard procedure. Nothing to see here, folks. Car maker Mercedes-Benz of South Africa said the shutdown of operations in the Eastern Cape plant for more than a month will be part of a standard procedure to adjust for local and international demand. Really? So you have slumping demand. That's not standard procedure. That's called layoffs. Produces a luxury C-Class, has 2,400 workers, produced 70,000 cars in 2024. Shutdown, which also took place last year, started June 24th and will continue through July 30th. So every year you shut down. Globally, Mercedes-Benz is battling declining sales. According to Reuters, car sales decreased by 3%, with 7% drops in China and 3% in Europe. Their electric vehicle sales dropped by 23%. That is a bad sign for the green energy crowd, the zealots. Vincent Chichuka will get his first official test match against Italy this weekend. Ooh, baby. Here we go. Yeah, here's the Springboks. Damien Villemse is back for the Bucks. Yep. Vincent Chichuka will get his test debut in an experienced match day outfit by Springbok coach Rossi Erasmus. Eben Etzebeth, who's back from injury. Yes. So here we go. Here's the lineup, folks. Damien Villemse at fullback. Cheslin Colby on the right wing. Jesse Creel and Damien De Allende in the center. Kurtley Arnse on the left wing. Henry Pollard at the fly half. Mornay Vandenberg gets the nod at scrum half. I told you this guy's a stud a long time ago. Jasper Wiese wearing the number 8 jersey, back from Japan. Vincent Chichuka in his debut. Last week doesn't count. Barbarians exhibition. Marco van Staden, Lut de Jager, he was back from injury and was amazing in that exhibition. Eben Etzebeth back from injury. Wilco Low, Malcolm Marks, and Oxenche. Wilco Low gets the nod in the front row. Interesting. On the bench, Bongi Mbanambi, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, and Vincent Koch. Arge Sneeman, Franco Mostart. Of course, Jean Clem was injured. Quagga Smith, Faf de Klerk, and Willy Leroux. Loftus, 5 o'clock on Saturday. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Holly Davidson, the sexy Scottish official, will be out there on the pitch. Matthew Carley from England and Andrew Brace on the sidelines, along with Andrew Jackson, not the former president of the United States, but the English rugby official. Serbian police acting out in Serbia, removing barricades in Belgrade to make new arrests as protesters block roads. Stop that. Serbian police on Monday removed street barricades in Belgrade that are part of the persistent dissent against the government of populist President Aleksandar Vučić. Protesters demanding release of dozens of university students and others arrested after a massive weekend rally, accused of attacking police or plotting to overthrow the government. Well, if you've attacked the police, you shouldn't be released from custody. That's just silly. Poland will be monitoring its borders with Lithuania and Germany much closer. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk announced Tuesday his country will introduce temporary border controls in Germany and Lithuania, raising questions about the future of free movement under Schengen. Mr. Tusk said the new controls go into effect on July 7th, citing increased illegal immigration the main reason for reinstating border controls. We consider the temporary reintroduction of controls necessary to reduce the uncontrolled flows of migrants across the Polish-German border to a minimum. Yeah. And by the time winter comes, they'll ease up on that because they don't flow as much in the wintertime because they're not accustomed to the cold. Ukraine. Proving once again that it's all in for Ukraine. They're withdrawing from the Ottawa Treaty. The anti-personnel landmine treaty ban, they are pulling out. Volodymyr Zelensky, the grifter-in-chief, says landmines needed to defend against Russian invaders. So he will mar and blow the body parts off of soldiers to achieve his goals. Ukrainian President Volodymyr, and in interest of full disclosure, yes, the United States is not a signatory to the Ottawa Treaty. That is correct. We are not a signatory. And we made it clear why we're not a signatory. We abide by the terms of the treaty with the exception of the Korean border. Without those mines, the South Koreans would be inundated and flooded with a 1 million man plus North Korean army almost overnight. That's why we do not sign that treaty. But we abide by it in all other circumstances. The Ottawa Convention bans production, stockpiling, transfer of any use of anti-personnel landmines because they could pose harm to civilians even after hostilities ended. Ukraine was one of 160 countries that agreed to sign the treaty, and now Volodymyr Zelensky is abrogating that treaty. Surprise, surprise. Canada took a U-turn. They blinked. The Canadians have blinked, ladies and gentlemen. After boasting how proud and sovereign they were, after threatening Donald Trump, they've backed down like a bunch of little sissies. So, after President Trump suspended trade talks with Canada over the controversial digital service tax, Ottawa scrapped it to get back to the bargaining table. Yep. An about-face by Canada amid trade negotiations in the United States was welcomed on Monday by the Trump administration as a victory. But for the Canadian government, it may have just been a calculated tactical retreat. Yeah. Yeah, it's very simple. Prime Minister Carney in Canada caved to President Trump, and the United States of America, said Caroline Leavitt. 100% they caved, as will most countries. U.S. skipped out on the Beggars Conference. UN skips global UN meeting aimed at raising trillions to combat poverty. How about combating poverty by getting rid of stupid rules, bigotry, racism, and socialism? Many of the world's nations, but not the United States, gathered money in Spain to tackle a growing gap between rich and poor nations and try to drum up trillions of dollars needed to close it. Financing is the engine development, and right now the engine is sputtering, says UN Secretary General Antonio Clueless Gutierrez. Yes. Many countries face escalating debt burdens, declining investments, decreasing international aid, and increasing trade barriers. Co-hosts, the United Nations and Spain, believe the meeting is an opportunity to close the staggering $4 trillion annual financing gap to promote development, bring millions of people out of poverty, and help achieve the UN's badly lagging sustainability goals by 2030. But here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We've been giving money for decades. And what has it gotten us? Except abuse. It hasn't lifted people out of poverty. Why? Why? Because it's not the answer. So this year, 3.3 billion people last year were living in countries that pay more interest on their debts than they spend on health and education. Well, whose fault is that? Why did you squander the money? Why didn't you grow your economy? Why did you exclude people from the economy? That's your fault, not my fault. This is a grifters conference to take money out of my pocket and your pocket and give it to people who don't earn and don't contribute and then squander it. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not interested. Well, President Trump has revoked the sanctions on Syria. Wow. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, the National Emergencies Act, the Syria Accountability and Lebanese Sovereignty Restoration Act 2003, the Chemical and Biological Weapons Control and Warfare Elimination Act 1991, the Syria Civilian Protection Act 2019, and a bunch of others. I hereby order the United States is committed to supporting Syria as a stable, unified, and at peace with itself and its neighbors. So he is removing the sanctions against Syria. That's an eye-opener. Yep, and this has to do with the talks going on with Israel. President Trump removed punishing economic sanctions on Syria, seeking to bolster the fledgling government in Damascus as it considers an end to hostilities with Israel. Signed executive order on Monday. Threat of more tariffs hangs over countries negotiating trade deals, like South Africa. As America's largest trading partners race towards deals, they are increasingly worried about being hit with future tariffs on their critical industries. Well, that's true. So get used to it. President Trump's tariffs have earned $81.5 billion. Bear in mind that most of these tariffs are set at 10% of goods. 10%. So some are 25% for aluminum, things like that, but most are 10%. So probably about $60 billion of that came from new tariffs from goods brought in at 10% tariff. Can you imagine? Wow. Now, the argument is that American consumers are paying for this, but inflation hasn't picked up. So as I predicted, the thing about tariffs is, if it's 10%, that's manageable. That means that the manufacturer will eat the cost and lower their margins to keep market share. Or if they can't afford that, they'll eat part of the cost, pass part of it on to the middlemen, the distributors, the shippers, and they'll pass part of it on, or they'll eat it. So just because there's 10% tariff doesn't mean Americans pay a penny more for goods coming to America. They could pay 10% more, but the odds are pretty slim. Now, if it's a 30% tariff, either the goods won't come here or American consumers will pay the price. So there you go. There you go. Brian Koberger, the lunatic who murdered all those college students in Idaho, pled guilty so he could avoid the death penalty. Sources confirm the prosecution has postponed dropping the death penalty in exchange for Kohlberger pleading guilty to committing the murders and a burglary charge. He will spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole and must waive his right to appeal. He killed these 4 students. Madison Mogan, 21, Kaylee Concalves, 21, Zana Candera, 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20. In a statement on social media, the family of Concalves said, "It's true. We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They've failed us. Please give us some time. This is very unexpected. We appreciate all your love and support." They've betrayed the families, as most prosecutors do. They betray the families and the victims. Just like South Africa, just like America. Same thing. "Death to the IDF," shouted a racist, anti-Semitic scumbag at the Glastonbury Music Festival with 200,000 people cheering him on, showing you just how evil many people in the United Kingdom are. BBC apologized. The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer criticized. Why are you criticizing? Why is he under arrest? If he was 18 and white carrying a British Union Jack flag on a public street, he would be in prison for a year right now. If he was 35 and white and complained about Islamic fascist praying in his churchyard, he would be in prison right now. But Keir Starmer just has harsh words for this. He just has harsh words for this. Yeah, the British duo Bob Vylan was on stage at the Glastonbury Music Festival over the weekend when his lead singer led chants of death, death to the IDF. Yet later regaled the audience with an anecdote about once working at a record label for an effing Zionist. Racist, bigot, scumbag, hateful people. I understand his visa to America has been canceled. Yet, he canceled his tour of the USA on Monday. The move occurred in light of their hateful tirade at Glastonbury, including leading the crowd in death chants, U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau said. Yeah. Episode points to two trends happening at the same time: the rise in anti-Semitism and growing pro-Palestinian support in Europe as the war continues. This is because you've allowed these scumbags in your country. We've done the same. So we have to be blamed for this too. Trump offers advice to alligator Alcatraz migrants. Don't run in a straight line. President Trump joked Tuesday about the Department of Homeland Security will have to teach detainees how to avoid scaly reptiles as he left the White House to visit Florida's new alligator Alcatraz. We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator. Okay, if they escape from prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this, he said, making zigzag motion with his hands. You know what? Their chances go up about 1%. Oh, this is gold. You can't make this stuff up, man. President Trump is... Oh, am I insensitive? Am I insensitive? Look, if this was something Biden said, the left would be laughing harder than I am. Oh, my goodness. It just run like this. Oh, Trump is killing me, man. Meanwhile, the lunatics in California are rolling back a ludicrous environmental rule which has caused the housing crisis in part in Southern California. Governor Gruesome Gavin Newsom said state lawmakers scaled back a law that was vilified for its role in California's housing shortage and homelessness crisis. California leaders on Monday rolled back a landmark law that was a national symbol of environmental protection before it came vilified as the primary reason for the state's severe housing shortage. More than a half a century, the law, the California Environmental Quality Act, has allowed environmentalists to slow suburban growth as well as given neighbors and disaffected parties a powerful tool to stop projects they found objectionable. Newsom signed two bills, which were written by Democrats and had rare bipartisan support that will allow many development projects to avoid rigorous environmental review and potentially the delaying and cost-inflating lawsuits that have discouraged construction in the state. Democrats have long been reluctant to weaken a law known as CEQA, which they considered an environmental bedrock in a state that has prided itself on reducing pollution and protecting waterways. Yet you still can't breathe in Los Angeles for half the year. Nothing but haze in Los Angeles. So I don't know what their environment's done. Yeah. Yeah. Elon Musk has threatened to create a new... Oh, Senate does pass the bill. The Senate has passed the bill now. Okay, let's see how long ago this came up. Come on. Come on.
That is something that could be a pickup, but it will be a tough race.
Okay. Well, that isn't working. CNN's useless. I'm looking for a text story, and they're giving me video that I can't even play. The bill has passed, apparently, in the Senate. All right. Elon Musk has made a warning that he's going to start his own political party if this bill passes. This is just foolhardy. Foolhardy. After declaring he was stepping away from political spotlight, Musk got right back in it. As the Senate debated Trump's big, beautiful bill before a final vote, Musk issued a stark warning via social media. Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame, and they'll lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on this earth. A few hours later, he went further, declaring on X that the insane spending bill passes, the American Party will be formed next day. The country needs an alternative to Democratic-Republican uniparty so that the people actually have a voice. Well, I don't disagree with him, but this is a very dangerous move, which will result in a Democratic victory in the next election because the people that are going to join that party are not Democrats. They like big spending. So, and many Republicans will stay with the Republican Party. Elon Musk will destroy America with this decision. The billionaire and former Trump advisor suggests that if the policy passes, he will form his own party. Not a good move. Yep. Insanity. Attorneys are pushing for class action in a birthright citizenship case after Supreme Court ruling. So the leftists are already galvanizing to stop President Trump's birthright citizenship ban. Attorneys are urging a federal judge in Maryland to use an alternative legal mechanism for granting the sweeping block on President Trump's birthright citizenship. Well, we've just heard the Supreme Court say that you can't do that, yet they're still trying to evade the law with the law. The Artemis 2 mission has a successful engine test, one step closer to the launch of the first women On the moon. That's what it's all about. Women on the moon. Not about space exploration, but gender. Yep. Artemis 2 mission to the moon advanced closer to launch this week following successful test of its RS-25 engine. NASA's Kennedy Space Center on Monday. NASA and L3 Harris industry teams conducted a series of engine checkout tests on the Artemis RS-25 engine as part of Space Launch System program. Tests include integrated systems tests and a full virtual hot fire simulation. So they didn't actually fire the engines up. Yeah. So this mission is all about getting women to the moon. Not about space exploration. First time in 5 decades, we're going to put people on the moon. And it's all because we got to get women up there. Women and people of color. That's what it's all about. U.S. Army ROTC programs are taking a hit, reorganizing, shutting down dozens of campuses. Why? The Army is undertaking major shakeup at Reserve Officer Training Corps footprint. I am a commissioned officer from that source commissioning. Shutting down reorganized programs at 84 college campuses. The move, which the Army planners described as surgical, is part of a broader push to trim down bloat in the service. There's no bloat. In total, 291 students are expected to be affected, most of them having to potentially shift their programs to nearby campuses. Of those, 16 contracted cadets will have their programs totally deactivated and be left with few alternatives, though in some cases the service is aiming not to disrupt their tenures. So 16 officer candidates will no longer be able to become Army officers despite the fact that they committed themselves to this and they've got the carpet being pulled out from under them. Those cadets will be given a choice to transfer to another program. In other words, they have to leave their university and pick up more obligations at another school or exit their contracts without penalty. Seniors currently in the program won't see changes as cuts won't kick in until after graduation. The ROTC program is among the most public-facing elements in the Army. In September, the military.com reported the service was eyeing a roughly $100 million cut to ROTC through the rest of the decade. The moves come as the effort nip and tuck where it can as part of a large reorganization. This rebalance and optimization effort ensures that the Army's requirements for officer commissioning will, while being good stewards of resources. We're working closely with our workforce, cadets, and academic partners to ensure a smooth transition while preserving the quality of our ROTC programs. And I disagree. Having served in Cadet Command, having taught ROTC at Iowa State University, being a product of Ohio University's ROTC program, this is not serving the nation. This is shameful that the Department of Defense can't find $100 million over a 10-year period, $10 million a year, to fund this program properly. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. These institutions will be inactivated. University of California at Merced, Buena Vista University in Iowa, University of Dubuque in Iowa, Idaho State, University of Nebraska, Kearney, Millersville University here in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Western University in Clarion, Texas A&M International University, and St. Norbert College. And these 19 institutions will have to go across town to other schools. Wow. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. So there's a whole thing going on in social media with California Representative Laura Friedman, who has, what does she have, 2,000 followers? She got 14 million views on a post, but she has 1,600 followers. Isn't that wild? She says, calling on Zoran Mamdani's denaturalization isn't just wrong, it's blatant Islamophobia. It's also anti-democratic and a disgrace to the office of member of Congress. Well, he's not a member of Congress. He's a councilman in New York, so I guess it's a disgrace to Laura Friedman. As far as calling for his denaturalization, that's not Islamophobic. You're assuming that people are against him because of his faith. No, they're against him because he's a wackadoodle. He's a wackadoodle. This administration's failure to condemn this vile attack and other forms of anti-Muslim hate undermines the safety of our Muslim friends and neighbors. No, it doesn't. Your hysteria about anti-Islam, your hysteria about Islamophobia is bullshit, and I'm tired of it. We've had enough of it. We've had enough of you leftist nonsense talkers saying your BS about things that aren't true. Stop it. We've had enough. This is not Islamophobia. The guy is a wackadoodle politically. He's got no basis to stand on. He's just a clown, and he's embarrassing, and that's why people are opposed to him. That's why people are opposed to him. Not because he's Muslim. If you think that's what it is, you're just a bigot, assuming people are against him because he's Muslim. I don't like the guy because he's a wackadoodle. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted right there, man. That's what I wanted right there. So we have an answer for that to the representative from California, Miss Laura Friedman. Yeah.
Name's Bugger Off Bunny, and that's bullshit.
Yeah. That's bullshit. Yeah, sorry. Just because you don't like it, because someone criticizes a Muslim, doesn't make them Islamophobic, sweetie. That doesn't make him Islamophobic. Any more than me criticizing you makes me a misogynist. It doesn't. Just because you're a dingbat doorknob, that's not my fault. Whether you've got one set of genitalia or another has nothing to do with it. It has to do with because you're an idiot. It's because you're an idiot. So these California, she's a member of Congress and has 1,600 people on Twitter. Seriously? Cat Turd has millions of people. She has 1,000. She's a member in the House of Representatives in Washington with 1,600 people following her on Twitter. That's embarrassing. I mean, I had nobody following me Twitter, but I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I had nobody follow me for a long time. Wow. And in response, an Army major, purported Army major, going by Infantry Dort, took a risk on social media by posting something on Twitter, which is pretty scary, if it's true. And it's being described by people also as Islamophobic, but it's not Islamophobic. The guy's relating what he claims are his true experiences having served in countries that are majority Muslim countries. Now, I've lived and worked in majority Muslim countries, and I have not seen this. I've also been in combat, and I've not seen this, but I am aware that this stuff happens. So this is pretty sick stuff that this guy's talking about here. So Infantry Dort, at Infantry Dort. Now, you guys know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. And when I'm done saying it, tell me if it's blatant Islamophobia or just, reality. Let me explain to you some of the things I've witnessed with my very own eyes in multiple Muslim countries. This will not be for the weak or faint of heart. They didn't just massacre one another in Baghdad. They chopped up each other into little pieces and stuffed them in underground vats. Specialist Plochia, I presume a pseudonym, was the only one that had a strong enough stomach to fish the pieces out with a coat hanger so we could confirm the report. Don't worry. There were so-and-so was there as a witness. That's another account. Rib cages with rotted flesh, pieces of legs with shoes attached, arms and hands, you name it. It was the most disgusting thing I've seen with my two eyes. The obsession with having sex with children or feminine men. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go any further than that. Not going to get further with that. So if you guys want to read that tweet, I'll give you the link to it. I'm not going to read it more because that's too much. If you've got a stomach for, it's too long. It can't go. It's too long. So I can't get it. How do I get the character? Let me go. All right, so I'm just screwed there. Let me try to refresh it. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, yeah, so I'm not going to read that. So you guys can read that if you want. Okay, I missed a lot of chat here. Anybody's feelings hurt by the show today? I don't know. If you are, sorry to hear that. Mosh, Australians are also petitioning the government to offer refugee status. Really? I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that, Mosh. Fox said they shot a shotgun at firefighters. What are you talking about? You talking about the Idaho thing? That's a different story. I like you more and more, says Kobus. Okay. I think we should make the Springbok rugby team our politicians because they bring more unity than all the political parties together. Okay. Ukraine and the penis piano playing president can do jack without assistance from the deep state swamp. You're right, Chris Swanepoel. News 24. Peter Dutton tried in 2018. I don't know who that is. Syria, why not? Since Bashir's gone, let them rebuild. Well, that's what he's trying to do. 50% tariff on all steel no matter of the country, correct? I think that's correct, Anime. But we don't import that much steel that it adds that much money to the 81 billion. That is the case. It would show interest in the program. Editorializes going to have Doge before the wheels come off completely. Those cash could have only left via not so kosher means. Michelle Devonaga, economies work like business. They need to stop voting for stupid people to avoid poverty. 100%. He pled guilty. I can't believe. You're right, Lindy. He pled guilty. He didn't want the death penalty. Good evening, Estelle. Been following the Idaho case since it happened. Well, Kai, that was a weird one. Alabella says, may God be with the IDF. That Glasgow thing was disgusting. I agree with you, Cloud Strife. Charles Van Alton, the voice of reason, says Ukrainians are more imaginative than the Russians, but they lose the moment the EU and USA stop support. Well, the USA has already stopped support. Keir Starmer doesn't have big, I've got big balls, you've got big. Or it happened where people exchange foreign currency after they visit other countries. I don't know what you guys are talking about. His mom is so proud of him. Shame, what an idiot. My anxiety is seriously acting up. So frustrating seeing all this happen in our country and not being able to do anything. Lynette, I understand that, but I'm going to give you a pickup. I'm going to give you a pickup in just a couple minutes here, folks. Hang tight. We're going to get a pickup. Stick with us. Oh, we're back to 1,000 viewers. Oh, bummer. Stick with us. We're going to give you a little pickup up just a second here. We've got about an hour into the program. Okay. Likes running at 60%. Please do the decent thing and hit the like button. Yeah, we just went over 1,000. Oh, people left. The bugger off bunny is laughing. UK is another Sharia Muslim state now, says Vernon. When the UK natives wake up, they'll soon be deported as illegal aliens. Yeah, there's a good chance of that. Good chance of that. That's crazy there. Excellent sense of humor, says Flying Dutchman. Caitlin's laughing. Okay. Love Trump. Oh, that was because Trump was in the alligator alley. Okay. I watched this live when he said it and laughed. So, Janine, I missed it live. I was busy. He's teaching life skills. They need to stop being ungrateful. Exactly. We need Trump says, make South Africa great again. Says Stephanie Michael, one of my favorite names. Stephanie, how's it going? Thanks for the good works, mods, aka Troll Hunters. Troll Hunters. I'll have to make a t-shirt for my moderators, the Troll Hunters. Yeah, but sometimes they whack the wrong people. So anyway, Pierre Rousseau, no stress, Elon is increasing Tesla stocks from Democrats. There you go. When you have too much money and you're bored, you act like this. Exactly, Cloud Strife. You start political parties. Elon is upset about electric cars. He'll get over it. Yep. Trump and yeah, that's right. It's not in the bill, so he's upset. He might be right. You might be right about that. Many people do not vote, but think Elon has ego problems. Yeah, exactly. His attention will shift soon. He has too many business ideas going on. I think you're right. Well, V8s will get more sales. I would take a V8 or a 12-cylinder in a heartbeat over those stupid electric vehicles. Don't want my car to burn my garage down. Have to leave it outside in the sun in Arizona because it's going to burn your house down. Don't understand why Elon's upset. He's beyond rich. Why would this bill worry him? He's acting like a child, I guess. Great innovator, but needs to stick with what he knows best. Exactly. The Silicon Valley billionaires have wasted truckloads of money over decades of funding a third party. Yep, they tried. The Reform Party, all kinds of parties. Yep. Yep. Cannot even imagine what Trump and Elon are up to. Okay. Sedgefield's back. Emerencia, they are sending women to the moon to decorate it. Emerencia, you are such a misogynist. Anthea will volunteer to go to the moon. Okay. Helen Troy gave a 14 rand super chat. Did you see my email? Unabridged. Okay. Let me see, Helen. Okay. I'm waiting for another email, so hang on. Hang on. No. Hang on a second. No, I don't see anything from you. I got people sending me stuff on unabridged birth certificates, but not you. No, I don't see anything from you. What email are you using? Oh, wow, guys. Guess what? You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. I have an email. You want to guess? Okay. Okay, so you guys are going to love this. Start of the poll, okay? Who did the Colonel receive an email from? Okay? All right, so I just received an email. I'm looking for that email from Helen. I can't find it. And I just saw this one. Okay, so I'm going to give you some options here, okay? Okay. Who did I receive an email from? You ready? Here you go. There's the poll. You get to guess. Katy Perry would be a lot more effective as president. No, she wouldn't be. She's a loser. Dave, what is this? Dave is not here. Yeah, that's a good one. Leon Schuster. Yeah, no, I didn't get an email from Leon Schuster, guys. Sorry about that. Penny for your thoughts. Okay. Well, while we wait for you to answer that poll, oh, here's a 140 rand. Doing a great job. Thank you, Connie. You're very welcome. Thank you for that. So while we wait for that, folks, how about something inspiring? Okay. You know, people are kind of down. We had a little fun with the car guard stuff to start this off, but you know, let's just take a moment here and something that cheers us up a little bit. This is, I hope you guys don't mind country music because all they do is win, win, win. And I came up with this song live on a broadcast 2 nights ago, and I'm trying to put some video and images to it. Someone else is doing that for me too. But this is to celebrate our Springboks. Now, I'm not a South African, but they're still my Springboks. Been a fan since the 1980s.
Under the southern sun, the green and gold shine bright. On the field of honor, they battle with all their might. From the scrums to the tries, they always find their way.
Springboks rising higher day after day. Springboks just win, win, win. They can't be denied. With the Webb Ellis Cup, they're filled with pride. The greatest rugby nation, standing tall and true. Better than the rest in every test they pursue. From the dusty fields to the world stage they've roared. Legends carved in history, their spirit soared. In the hearts of a nation, they ignite the flame. Every tackle, every try, echoing their name. Springboks just win, win, win. They can't be denied. With the Webb Ellis Cup, they're filled with pride. The greatest rugby nation, standing tall and true. Better than the rest in every test they pursue. Through the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the pain, they carry the hopes of a country like a chain. From the whistles blow to the final play, they prove their greatness every single day. Springboks just win, win, win. They can't be denied. With the Webb Ellis Cup, they're filled with pride. The greatest rugby nation, standing tall and true. Better than the rest in every test they pursue.
So I thought we'd bring a little bit better mood there, folks, with Springbok Glory. That's what that song is. Came up with that the other night. Some people were here live when we had a little fun and said, let's create a new song. And someone, asked for topics. Someone spread Springboks. And I said, great, I've wanted to do a Springbok song for a long time. So I put in some text, some themes for it, decided on a country theme because South Africans love country, at least Afrikaners do. And whoa, that's what came out. That's brilliant. Love it. Okay, so the answer, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what you guys guessed. Okay. Only 7% of you guessed the correct answer. Ladies and gentlemen, in my email, while looking for email from Helen of Troy, which I couldn't find, I found an email from CNN. It's real. CNN wrote to me. They want to interview me. Wow. They want to interview me for Anderson Cooper's show. Wow. Actually, they don't want to talk to me. They just want to talk to refugees. They don't want to talk to me. They just want to talk to refugees. Yeah, CNN just wants to milk me again. Just want to use me. They don't want to talk to me. Oh, I love how Cockprod24 and Daily Maverick and ENCA and Newsroom Africa all want to talk to me when they want to talk to refugees. But when they want to talk to me about insights on Africa or insights on American foreign policy, geopolitics, now they just get their go-to boring, uninformed, overpaid commentators that come on their programs. Yeah. Why would I help fake news CNN? Madeline, you got it right. Yeah, remember what happened to Pete Retief? Yeah, that's right. I know he's a nice person. Oh my goodness. CNN is the same as Cockprod24. It is. Well, we see. Let the truth out there. No, they don't need me. They want to talk to refugees. They don't want to talk to me. It's funny. Funny. I guarantee you that if I contacted CNN and asked for help to get to a source, they wouldn't even return my message. They don't want to interview me, guys. They want to interview the refugees. They just want to use me again. Oh, that's funny. And here's the thing. I didn't just tell those other outlets no. I tried in good faith to get them interviews. And I did get the New York Times interview with Thea, which went into a story published by John Elgin. But I in good faith tried to help Daily Maverick. I tried to help ENCA, who were polite to me. I tried to help those organizations. But when people wouldn't respond right away, they lost interest and faded away. And ENCA went out of their way to go down to interview Earl Langton. It was a decent interview, too. Anyway. Arthur says, when I get to the refugee program, I'm a personal interview, and that's Chris. Thank you for that. Yep, the flipping from CNN. My interview with my bugger off bunny. DA postures via Yanni Clip. Here's middle finger and disregards him. DA lists his 1,000 followers, paying members. Helen Zilla says, we will not be bullied. No, the refugees don't want to talk to people. Although some say they don't, then they do. Let that golden keyboard of yours whip up a great email. Yeah, I have to think about it. I'll have to edit that email a few times before I send it. Oh, Jimmy Swaggart passed away. Okay, he must have been about 90. Yeah, he just died. He's 90 years old. He doesn't even look the same, man. Jimmy Swaggart has died at the age of 90. He met his beloved Savior and entered the portals of glory, according to a statement posted on his Facebook page. Pioneering televangelist Jimmy Swaggart, one of the first preachers to bring his ministry to a massive television audience before enduring a damaging sex scandal, died in Louisiana following a 2-week hospitalization. He was 90. Today, our hearts are heavy as we share that Brother Swaggart has finished his earthly race and entered the presence of his Savior, Jesus Christ. Swaggart was taken to the hospital on June 15th after suffering cardiac arrest. Russell Gantz just gave... hang on a second. Can I help you? Can I help you?
This is the DoD Alert Mass Notification System. Here is your message. Exercise, exercise, exercise.
Okay.
There is an airborne chemical hazard in our location. Shelter in place.
Sorry, that's an exercise. Department of Defense warning me. There's an exercise. It's not real. It's a chemical dispersion. Yeah, so they're just training. But I just got interrupted for it. Russell Gantz, €5. Thank you. The Joburg Property Deeds Office is temporary closing. The ANC do not need deeds. What's to stop them? Yeah, I got you. Legion gave 50 Rand. Thank you. Flying Dutchman, 14 reply to CNN with the bugger off bunny. Just want to waste your time. Yep. And then Lynn Zeke gave 140 cents in a copy of the bugger off bunny video. Yeah. You can get my interview when I go to. Thank you, Cycling Journeys. Yeah, Jimmy Swaggart was a good person. I didn't speak ill of him. Yep. He became famous in 1975. His television crews were able to capture the services live and replay them on his weekly program. By the mid-'80s, his Sunday show was aired on hundreds of TV stations, but his standing in the Christian community suffered a terrible blow when allegations emerged that he frequented a local prostitute. He famously gave a tearful 1988 sermon telling the congregation he had sinned, though he didn't offer any specifics. I've sinned against you, he said. Born on March 15th, 1935 in Faraday, Louisiana. Wow. Jimmy Swaggart, dead at 90. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that. That popped up just a few minutes ago, actually. Yeah, an hour ago, after I was live. Helen resent the email. Okay, Helen, I'm going to check right now and see if it's there. Okay. No, I didn't get it. No. Helen, I don't know where you're sending this. I received messages since you sent that. I'm not getting it. Are you sending it to a different account? You're sending it to the wrong place. You're sending it to the wrong place. Helen, I've said hundreds of times to people, do not send messages to that email address. I do not welcome messages from there. I do not see them. You sent it to a personal email address, and I just ignore those emails. Okay, now I've got it. Okay, you're sending it to the wrong place. You've been shown the email multiple times here. Okay, now I found it. Now I know why I can't find it. Yeah, please don't send emails to those addresses. Okay, they get ignored. I get 3,000 emails a day in that account. I can't deal with personal emails there. That's my personal email for my business. I nearly missed paying 2 credit card bills this month because I didn't see the notices for them, and I already paid credit cards because people send me junk mail there. Please do not use that account, Helen. I've seen it now. Okay, I will respond. Okay, thank you for the 14 Rand super chat. It's not in spam. It's in the wrong account. It's in the wrong account. I've asked people not to use that account. I don't share that. That's the only email address to send stuff. Thank you, Hendo. If you want something from me, that's where you send it. If you send it elsewhere, it's likely to get ignored. If I've got time and I'm in a good mood and I see something, I might click on it. Otherwise, it just gets ignored. I mean, that account right now, I'll tell you, because like I say, I get 3,000 emails a day. It's not telling me how many emails I've got. God bless it. Anyway, let me see if I can get it this way. No, it used to tell me, but I've got thousands of emails that are unread in there. So, yeah, it's not going to, I mean, I had like 9,800 emails unread last time I looked. And so, you know, that's a lot of junk mail too that, I mean, I don't need. But if you send something there, it's not going to be seen. Dim the lights. Yeah, okay. It's, Anthea, it's not in spam. I have it. She sent it to the wrong email address. Fox is not very good either. Oh, the we transfer. Okay, thank you, Emily. Okay. Now I got to go to the right email account. Okay, yeah, I see that. Okay, so Emily just said, okay, let me do this. Cool beans. Okay. Oh, thanks. Download. Okay, your download is started, and it is almost finished. It is finished. Let's pull it up and see what it says. Okay. Oh, here we go. Check this out. This is what Annalie just made for us. We're all going to be surprised by this. You ready for this? It's got 1,000 people watching. Here's your debut, Annalie, on this one. She did the Car Guard song. Here we go. Ready?
Down by the lot near the old cafe where the sun fries cars all night and day. There's a wild crew doing what they do. Yeah, you know them, the parking lot crew. Refugees with moves so tight, waving cars in left and right. 10 ways to say, yo, park that straight. 12 for bro, you're 20 late. Neanderthals in safety vests, snack in hand, but doing their best. One grunted loud, broke out in a jig. Turns out he just wants a parking gig. Canines bark like they run the block. Chased a drone down, beat the clock. One gave change with a tail wag spin. That dog's got tips and a toothy grin. Who you gonna call when the lot gets loud? Parking cones up and they're drawing a crowd. Whistles blow and the scooters fly. It's the parking crew and the riding high. From the streets of town to the lot bazaar, they'll guard your ride like a superstar. Yeah, from Jersey streets to America, it's the funky, fearless parking lot crew. Car guard shout near the garbage bin. Who parks scale? You let them in. They blow their whistles in perfect time, like a backup band with a traffic sign. Then here comes Wyatt, the colonel boss. Duct tape boots and a look that's sauce. She rides a scooter with flashing beams, salutes pigeons, yells at ice cream. And dogs, eights for a line, no dents, no scrapes, no overtime. If they park like chaos, made a plan. Fight them twice and be the man. Who's got the beat in a vested hat? Parking legends funky like that. Guard your eye with soul and flair and a high-fi breeze in the summer air. From this line here to America, it's the wild, proud parking lot crew.
Oh, that's good, Anley. Thank you for that. I assume we can use that. So now we got a video to put the parking, but that's only the first one. That's not the second one. Funny how everyone thinks their AI is the best. It's okay. I do better than anyone else say, but don't do shit on people. But I do look at critical things. Okay, grade mate. Thanks for the criticism, but I think the lyrics are fantastic. Who was the preacher from Cross and Switchblade? No idea who that is. Okay, our car guards. So for Dogzilla, a car guard is someone who you give a small amount of money to watch your car while you're in the shop, so it isn't broken into or stolen. It's prevalent all over South Africa, not just there, but other parts of Africa too. And if you don't pay a car guard, then someone breaks in your car. So a lot of racists in South Africa and some right-wing turd balls in South Africa are claiming that the refugees are toothless, useless, unemployable, lazy Afrikaners who are coming to America. First off, they're not Afrikaners. Many are, but not all are. That's the first problem. Second, many of them are very accomplished. Some have left businesses behind, abandoned them because they're fear for their lives and their family. They've come here. So we're making fun of the Neanderthal thing because Notaboloye called white people Neanderthals and genetically inferior, said that white women could not breed properly, which is odd because there were like, 10,000 of us in Europe, few thousand years ago, and now there's 1.3 billion white people on the planet, so I'm not really sure where his math comes from. Apparently white women are quite capable of breeding. I mean, my mother was one of 13 children. My grandmother's white as the driven snow, so I'm not sure what he's talking about. Anyway, he was just being provocative. So the Neanderthal, he also called white people dogs that needed to be chained and disciplined and kicked and beaten. That's what he said. And so we have a little bit of fun with that, instead of threatening to burn cities down or burn tires on the road because our feelings are hurt, or threaten to murder farmers because, we think that someone stole land that we never owned. We actually make light of it, the silliness when they call us names. So the Neanderthals, the canines, and the car guards is all part of that, Dogzilla. Does that make sense to you? The comment OG Chris baby that I sent you on WhatsApp. Okay. All right, hang on, Anne-Marie. I didn't see you sent me anything. Guys. All right, so let me find Anne-Marie. Oh my goodness. What the hell? This one was murdered? Michelle Zaks, 50 years old, murdered alongside her son, Eitan, in a shelter, Beersheba. Oh, that's in Israel. Okay. So I thought Anne-Marie sent me that. Who just said they sent me the darn, what's an Anne-Marie? Oh, chat just went forward. I can't see it. Okay. Where's this at? Helen, no need to apologize. And no need to spend a super chat. Thank you for that. No need to apologize. Just saying that's why I didn't see it. I kept looking for it in the wrong place. Where is, I thought it was Anne-Marie. Did it disappear? Okay, I'm confused. Yeah, okay, Anne-Marie, no, I have no baby Chris from you, unless you sent a long time ago. There's no, did you send it an email? There's nothing on WhatsApp here. No, there's Noah Bugulovsky murdered in Beersheba, and then this lady murdered in Beersheba. Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay, sorry. Oh, okay, got it. Sorry, it's tiny. It didn't show up properly. Okay. Sorry, Anne-Marie. Okay, I'm gonna screen this one because let me look at it real quick. I'll zip through it and see if it's safe to show.
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride. No money gonna slow me down. Oh no.
No, I'll get a copyright on that one. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Funny. Okay, what else? Preacher was Pat Boone. Pat Boone's not a preacher. Pat Boone's an actor. No place for racial slurs, incitement of violence. I agree, Rex Human. No place for it. Someone just got robbed at McDonald's drive-thru. Good Lord. I assume that's in South Africa, Clouds Drive. Berto, the big, beautiful bill is passed. Elon. Yeah, Elon's probably pissed. Yep, we'll see what he does. You won't believe me, I went to pick up my passport last week was the only white, and they kept asking me why I was there. Because you need to go to Mauritius on holiday. Tell them. Guys, everybody's going to Mauritius. People ask you about your passport. It's not their business, but if they insist, well, I'm going to Mauritius. Yeah. It was in Cape Town it happened with the McDonald's, okay? Have you seen the emergency alert that will go out on UK on all mobile phones? It's a test of the system and is apparently warning Brits to prepare for war. No, I haven't seen that. GB News is not always reliable, so, but yeah, maybe it's true. Varushka is here with a 35 Rand super sticker. Thank you. Brian and for purchase meds. What? Nice one, Varushka. Who's that troll spewing crap like would like to challenge him to a face-off arranged intelligence derby? Who's the dumbest of all? What are you talking about, Rudolph? Challenge who? Challenge who? You want to tell me a president can ask the youth to take up arms and take from all whites? Well, that's basically what Ramaphosa did. He told the Youth League to take up arms. He said we need to revert to what we did back in the 80s. That's what he said. I heard it. What is September 13th in London? We are capable of breeding in South Africa, says Boss Luis. Seychelles. Okay, Charles is going to Seychelles, not Mauritius. Same difference, you know. If they were mugged, guess they weren't having a happy meal. No kidding. Tell them you want a holiday to Mauritius. Exactly. You're going to go to Zimbabwe? They won't buy that for a second. Unless you're Zimbabwean. Trout hunting in Alaska. Trout hunting? You mean fishing. Tried to start back a buddy for me in biopsy, and after results, kept kicking me out. Loretta, yeah, there's Back a Buddy's got problems. I don't know what the deal is. And I wrote to them. They never wrote back to me. They responded, but then they wrote back to me. I did just give them a call, but that's expensive, so maybe I'll do it anyway. Anyway, yeah, Back a Buddy. The main source of mainstream news report 12 hours ago. MSN news report? Really? Okay. MSN News. MSN News. Wyatt. Nope. Nope. MSN News. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to need more than that. What's the story about? I mean, I'm here, but their news reports are all over the place. It doesn't help me. Huh. MSN News. That's a month ago. Oh, that's that guy who is defrauding everybody. They claim he's defrauding. That's from a month ago. A South African man shared a confusing TikTok update about the process to allow 54 Afrikaners to fly to America in a private chartered plane. The content creator has been in America for 3 weeks, no longer than planned. He's not in America. That's South Africa. Revealed his disappointing meeting with retired Colonel Chris Wyatt, saying it was a waste of time. South Africans flooded the comment section asking for clarity, with many unsure if the man himself is part of it. He's not. He's not. His video was a fraud. South African content creator left his TikTok followers baffled with a rambling update about Afrikaner refugees and a mysterious meeting with a retired colonel. He never had a meeting with me. This isn't news. This isn't news. Narissa and I do. I already talked to her about that. So, yeah. Was there anything else? Second batch. Okay. One month ago. Yeah, they commented me there 1 month ago. They put my Twitter account on there. I don't see anything, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. So, anyway. Yep. Yes, G. Sawyer. I announced earlier today that I'm forming a union, Car Guards of America United. It begins operation on August 1st. The annual or the monthly dues will be $1,000 US. Yeah, Car Guards. MSN title 12 hours ago. Must South African refugees applicants make... Ah, okay. Oh, let's see what they say about that. Okay, MSN. Must South African refugees did not match any search. Refugees, where the hell's it at? Their social media profiles public. Nothing. Maybe because I got quotes. There it is. It's Megan Thunderheaver again. So, visa applicants. What about refugees? U.S. intelligence expert Chris Wyatt stated the social media clause issued by Assembly does not apply to refugee applicants. He said in a clip post social media, unless you're told by the refugee assistance program you need to open it, so it's not something that affects you. Relax, take a deep breath. It's all going to be fine. Do not panic. Wow, quoting me, as a former federal law enforcement official, I definitely want to be looking at people's social media when I'm going to determine whether they're the right sort of people to come to America, regardless of what program I'm applying for. Okay, well, there you go. Okay, guys, so Morsh, earlier you're asking about why I was so passionate about what I said about the tariffs and about South African dunderhead politicians. The reason I was so passionate is to get the message across to South Africa's media. You see, Megan Thunderheaver writes for the South African, and that story is published on MSN. So that's direct quotes out of what I said in my video, okay? That's why I'm passionate about it, because I know that Cockprot24 and Daily Maverick and the Times Live and IOL, all of these programs have got people watching my videos, probably interns. Spoke to some people today who have been trying to get to the USA. They've been sending emails everywhere, and we just met as if we're both agents. Okay, Helen, you spoke to someone who's been sending emails everywhere. Well, there's no place to send emails. There's a statement of interest, and that's it. So people sending emails are probably not going to get a response now. Louis van Beekak. I saw you don't need an account. I'm just saying, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, there's no official total cloud strife. An estimate that I'm putting out is about 100, a little over 100 at this point. I know of 4 more people that arrived in the States just a couple days ago. A couple of them just a few hundred miles from where I'm located. Another group on the other side of the country. Yep. No, there are no passport guards. Yes, they really are watching me, Loretta. I mean, there's the proof. I mean, you only need to watch Rebecca Davies' slander of me in the Daily Maverick when she called me a right-wing podcaster. You know, I love how these people try to belittle who you are. I mean, because they're dumb as a box of rocks. They don't even see. So if I'm going to disparage Rebecca Davies, I'll go look up her biography and find out what she's done, what she's accomplished before I just start saying things about her. But the reality is the following. Right-wing podcaster, no. No. First off, I'm an independent journalist. I'm accredited with multiple outlets. I've been accredited with the CBAC Convention. I've been credited with the government of South Africa as a journalist. I've been accredited with multiple rugby organizations also. So the list goes on and on with political parties. So I'm an accredited journalist. I have the accreditation credentials here all over the place. I've shown them multiple times. You know, it's ridiculous. It's nonsense. Let's see if they're in this box. Just some of them. Yeah, here's one. That's from the URC final last year at Loftus. This is rugby credentials for the DC United. Dallas rugby credentials, DC again. This is the National Convention, South Africa, credited. Houston Sabercats, CPAC accreditation, DC again. And that's just a handful of them. What's this? There's some coins in here. Those are European coins. They're useless to me. That's just a handful of them. It's just sitting here because I stuck them in this box. I mean, you know, for someone to try to undermine your credibility by lying about who you are. Also, I'm a university professor. I've taught at Iowa State undergraduate, the Army War College graduate. I was a guest lecturer at G5 State Health Defense College, a guest lecturer at the Nigerian Army War College. I'm a published author in academic circles. That's better credentials than Rebecca Davies has. I have academic publications. That's real cutting your teeth as an intellectual. So, you know, it's just, it's pathetic. It's pathetic, you know. This is the truth. The Appreciated News Channel. Thank you, Rex is Human. High time that the media report the right story and not thumbsuck. Exactly, I agree. Expat Family Joubert says, you're clever. How am I clever? Okay, guys. Okay, stop. I don't know what the... Let me explain something very quickly here, okay? All right, because I got this from Erica. Erica sent me something. I've got to get fingerprints, okay? Guys. Oh, they're doing fingerprints now. They've always done fingerprints. By the way, I reached out to a couple refugees in the 59ers to confirm that they had to do fingerprints. You do fingerprints. Now, some people's feelings are hurt. Oh, I'm not a criminal. Really? Prove it. Yeah, but I'm innocent. I don't have to prove anything. Well, then you don't want to come to America. We have an obligation to make sure you're not a criminal. Well, how would you have our fingerprints? Oh, how would we have your fingerprints? Well, if you've ever been to America and committed a criminal act previously, we'd have your fingerprints. But I've never done that. Well, we don't know that. We have to verify that. Hence the fingerprints. And get over this. Don't take it personally. I've never committed a crime. I've never harmed anybody. I had to give my fingerprints in 1983 to enlist in the Army. And then cheek swab for DNA. They've had my DNA. They've been cloning me for years. They've had my DNA for years. They've had my fingerprints. So I never committed a crime. Get over it. And it's not, oh, maybe, I'm sorry, baby Dino, maybe they were explaining what I'm explaining now. So the post may be valid. Yeah. It's about checking your background, who you are, your credibility. Be grateful they didn't ask for your DNA. Pee in this cup. Yeah. Yeah, no, fingerprints is not new. I don't know what people were thinking. You think you're going to come to America and be allowed to stay here permanently without providing fingerprints and a criminal background check? That's like the letter that I read last night from the gentleman who said nice things about me, but he wrote me this letter, made no sense to me. And he said, you know, he was upset about, you know, having to prove who he was. Why do we have to have a passport? Dude, because the South African government won't let you leave the airport without a passport. We can't control that. And why do you need this information? And what he said about the checks, that's what it was. The checks. Let's see what he said about the checks. He said something about, you know, how could we possibly know something about the checks? And I'm like, seriously, dude, do you know what you're talking about here? Okay. Where's this at? Where did he say that at? Oh, here it is. He said, you're selective in who you want and will allow into the USA. Well, yeah, we are. But not on the basis he thinks. He thinks we're selective because we only take able-bodied people who can work. That's not true. That's his presumption. But we are selective. We don't take criminals, pedos, rapists, murderers. I'm sorry. It's too bad. He says, you're giving us an out, but with many conditions. No. People who come here to America have the same conditions. So I understand about criminals, but a criminal check from SAPS is quick and easy. It's also useless. Why in the world would we do a criminal check with SAPS? We may, as part of investigation, but you think that's all we need to check whether you're a criminal or not? You really don't understand how the world works, folks. And he says, no other ways are available to confirm it. That's simply not true. We can take your fingerprints and prove it. Anyway, it could be made a condition to provide such certificate. It's free. It takes about a week or two applying a SAP station. First off, criminal clearance from the South African police is worth as much as CNN's opinion. Very little. The criminal background release from SAPS, you think that the government that's oppressing you, that's making your life unlivable and your life is in jeopardy, is going to give something that will be of value to my government? Nah, it doesn't work like that, man. It doesn't work like that. Same with fingerprints. I get fingerprint security jobs. Yeah, I took my fingerprints in May. I went to visit the country, and I have existing visa from last visit. I don't mind as long as I can see my son and his family, says Katie. Hey, Katie. What if machine cannot read fingerprints? Traffic department machine cannot read. Loretta, what does the traffic machine have to do with this? Well, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the question. We can read fingerprints. We will read your fingerprints. We will run them through our databases, CODIS and everything else. Sandra wants the free DNA test for genealogy. I recommend Ancestry.com. Rex says the complainers must stay. The ANC threatens Dadula. Wow. Criminal check and ID verification. Yep, take my fingerprints, DNA information. Just take me, says Liesel. Just give them fingerprint, toe print, face print. Oh, you guys are funny. And then Ruben says, I have to get fingerprints. I already read that, sorry. Who would have his name as the SAPS? Exactly. People are scared of taking fingerprints. You do your fingerprints for your ID. Exactly. I don't understand that. Exactly, Chris Wonderful says, people need to pay attention to what Chris Wyatt says during lives and not post crap on Telegram, WhatsApp groups during that time. Exactly. Karen has to go to the bank. 3.5 hour walk? That sucks. So they're not near you anymore. Sorry. Francois Andlau says, some more coffee money. Thank you. Appreciate that. You literally need fingerprints to work most retail stores in South Africa. Exactly. Passports from age 4. My kids got passports when they were babies. Hey, Kai. Yep. Okay. People have issues. Last week was the jab. This week it's fingerprints. Next week, who knows? Come on, people. Your fingerprints get taken. The banks. Exactly. Home affairs. Yeah, exactly. Zombie. I got it. Yeah, exactly. Why are people complaining about the U.S. doing their due diligence? I don't know, JP. It's like the gentleman, it's like we have an obligation, to take all these South Africans in. We don't. We don't have any obligation to any of you people. We do, out of the kindness of our hearts, try to offer things to people. But, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Every day, a farmer or Afrikaner is murdered or attacked because of the color of their skin. The USA offered a sanctuary, but they're taking their time about it, and they will only accept a selected group of people. USA is not taking their time about it. You have no understanding of how this process works. We are under no obligation to help anybody, and this is a rather ungrateful comment. And we'll only accept selective people. Yes, we won't take pedos, we won't take rapists, we won't take murderers. We have no obligation to take those people. That's what the Biden administration did, and now we have dead Americans all over the place, raped and murdered. In Florida, in Maryland, all over the country, because Biden let criminals in this country intentionally, and the leftists said, oh, they're just migrants. Nope. You think every single person that's put an application in or did a statement of interest is an honest, hardworking, dedicated, enterprising South African? You think every one of them are? I guarantee they're not. If that guy who's been swindling people put his thing in, yep. Anyway, Saps couldn't even find her fingerprints at work when someone broke in. Yeah, there you go. Every person in South Africa who owns a firearm has done fingerprints. Yeah, same here with fingerprints. Sue Marie wants a DNA test for free too. So what's your take on Bantu Holomisi's comment? UDM leader Bantu says if he were President Ramaphosa, he would have removed the DA from Medina a long time ago. I haven't talked to Bantu Holomisa, and I haven't seen that comment. When did it come out? I also, once again, think that it's a wholesale understanding of what the GNU is, and by the other 8 parties are part of it. You were welcomed in illegitimately by the ANC. This is an agreement. The statement agreement is between the ANC and the DA. Neither party can kick the other party out. One has to leave. Anonymous says, I'm so shocked at how people are complaining about this wonderful gift USA has given us. Yep. YouTube Shorts. What's that, Rex? These car guards, they all have the same fingerprints. Nope, they don't. Thank you for the super chat. $5. Cool beans. Thank you for that. The RFID chip. For crap's sake, you want to jump through the hoops? You don't want to jump through the hoops? Too bad. So sad. Exactly. Can you please do a video to make everyone aware of the jobs lost so far this year and the 620 businesses closed? I think the reason I haven't done that, Simon, is I think both those numbers are not legitimate. 95,000 jobs were lost since March of last year is what the media reported a few weeks ago. The 623 businesses, I don't buy that for a heartbeat. There's probably 623 businesses that have failed in Joburg alone. Yeah. Bank robber applied to SAPS for proof of record and offenses. After 5 weeks, he went to collect, got full clearance, battled to explain he needed convictions for a broadcast after 3 weeks. Huh? Provided my passport at the bank, avoid the racism. What happens when one is falsely accused but had to take fingerprints for court? Well, Suman 3 Rao, it's a very good question. If you've been falsely accused and never convicted of a crime, then you're not convicted of a crime. When interviewed by someone, you simply are honest with them. If you go for a refugee interview and you want to go to America and they ask if anything's ever happened, yeah, in 1998, I was falsely accused of the following offense. I was arrested, I was fingerprinted, I was taken in, they interviewed me, and the SAPS guys said this, that, and the other, and nothing came of it because I never committed offense. Charges were dismissed. Well, being accused of a crime is not being convicted of a crime. Also, some people are illegitimately convicted of crimes. Being convicted of crime doesn't necessarily mean that you will not be allowed to come. It does mean you're going to have a burden of proof, but, so hang in there. You take your fingerprints for bank accounts? We don't do that here. Oof. Find out in the photo. What's this? Nose print, paw print. Just saw a video in business. The title is a warning from White House. Have not listened to it. Just got the notification. Okay, let me go to biz news and see what it says. Well, I wonder if they're just copying my stuff. Biz News. 6 hours ago. Nope. Something from 6 hours ago. Nope. 6 hours ago. I got nothing. Got nothing. A warning from White House. There's nothing here. Let me look at their videos. Maybe it's there. 7 minutes ago. African. Oh, what? Oh, there it is. It's okay. Afrikaners, Three Amigos. Again, I didn't get an interview. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. So, Corney Mulder.
What happened after that? Mr. Rasul had to pack his bags and come home.
Wow. So, yeah, you're right. That just came up. I'm very disappointed in that. These guys all promised that they were going to come give me an interview when they're in the States. I lost my exclusive, and I still haven't gotten an interview. They're talking to everybody else. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. I don't know what the post said, baby Nino, about fingerprints. I have no idea. No idea. I suspect you're probably able to get the fingerprints through a third party. Maybe they tell you that. I don't know. I know Erica is not flying to Joburg to get hers done, so obviously she's getting hers done in Cape Town somewhere. Or an IDA test either. Okay. Big Beautiful Bill just passed. Yeah, we covered that earlier, Marley. Passed by the Senate. Now it goes back to the House. So it's considering getting pissed off at all these freaking people with issues with requirements. Yep. I did jobs where it's compulsory to do polygraph. So have I. Living in a cave. Yep. The average wait times for regular immigration services, USCIS, is 13 months. Yeah, I think that's right, Mark. Rather be vetted properly. Joe Cruz with a 35 Rand super chat. Thank you. The alert thing is off. Let me fix that. Okay. Thank you, Joe Cruz. Francois, you're being funny. I've answered that. Doctor. Oh, thank you, Astartes Victus. Astartes Victus. Thank you for that. I'm skipping a lot of the refugee stuff. I'm just not answering these things now. Wonder if anyone felt. Okay. Dogzilla, maybe a video about what fingerprint fingerings look like. Okay, Dogzilla, you're trolling. It's funny. I appreciate the $5, but it's a bit silly. Mad Max also checked JD Trump on Truth Social. Truth Social, Trump. Let's see what Trump's got to say. Carolyn Levitt, appeals court. I don't say anything here about South Africa on Truth Social. Yeah, Arnold, we just went to that business thing. I'm crestfallen here. It's okay, Amanda. It's fine. I don't know why. I mean, I've done a lot for those folks. Anyway, whatever. Well, they don't owe me anything. They don't owe me anything, but whatever. Yeah, the problem with those conditions, Super D, is I'm not buying that story until I talk to these guys. I didn't see anything where they said how these conditions were delivered. Were they delivered in that meeting back in May? That would be helpful. And also explain that. But I can't give the analysis because I can just give supposition, and I've got nothing to go with. I need a source, and they're not saying that. No one's asking that question. I've mentioned that I'm going to ask this question several times, and now someone else is going to get the interview, and they're going to ask the question before I do. Very disappointing. Anyway, such is life. Rebecca says, I have to be honest, I think a lot of these channels view as a threat. Their viewers see your caliber and immigrants over to your channel for the truth. I think you're right, Rebecca. I think you're right. A lot of outlets do see me as a threat. Yep. So, wow. Yeah, there's no proof of conditions, and I haven't had an interview with them, and nobody's asking that question. It's not to embarrass people, but I just want to ask the question. I was going to ask it here in person with them in the same room. I mean, you say that these conditions are out there. They tell you this. If you can't disclose who in the meeting, they can tell me outside the meeting. I will protect the source. But where were these delivered? Were they delivered in the May room? Because there's no interaction between the South African government and the U.S. government that we're aware of. I mean, if these are conditions, the conditions would not have been delivered to a minor party in the government national unity. They would have been delivered to the foreign ministry or the ambassador. But there's no ambassador, which would have gone to the charge d'affaires in Washington. Or it would have been delivered by our ambassador to the DIRCO director in South Africa. That's how it would have been conveyed. And it may have been conveyed that way, but no one's asking that question. No one's saying. So I'm asking that question, but I can't because I can't get the interview. I'm disappointed. You had to wait 13 months to get a suppressor? You have to book an appointment to collect a passport? That's crazy. It ought to just be at a front desk where you show your ID and you get it. Received a call from vetting from an old employee for H-2A visa. Yeah, well, that's not unusual. So it doesn't matter if the person used to your employee. They work for you, so the U.S. government's trying to get a feel for what they were like. That's not unusual, so don't be surprised by that. That is not surprising. Nadine Lynch says, thank you for the show, Channels Informed. You're very welcome. Yep. Oh, Pat Boone was a preacher in a movie. Yeah, okay, he was in a movie, but he was an actor. That's what I'm saying. What's happening in Qatar? I don't know, Mr. QB. What's happening in Qatar? I didn't say anything. Yes, virtual. Boy, is everybody just tuning in or not listening? I mean, we know that about this. The third person has told us the business put an interview up. I saw it already. Okay, okay. Thank you, Werner. Mark Liesker, CEO of Capitec, reckons. Yeah, that's old news. That guy's clueless. Trump's Truth Social. Well, I don't know anybody on. I don't have any followers on Truth Social. Just a handful. I think like 24 or something like that. Sounds too good to be true, so it should be vetted. You're right, Sumari. That's why I want to ask these questions. The wheel will turn. You'll get your day in the sun. I'm not worried about the wheel turning. I'm worried about the facts. I'm worried about the facts getting them out there. I'm a bit behind. Our interview is continuing. Well, I can't get the interview. I was supposed to have an interview with Corne Mulder and with Theo DeJager last week when they were here in D.C. It didn't happen. They were busy, and I got pushed to the back burner, and now they're giving interviews to everybody under the sun in South Africa, and they haven't even reached back to me, so obviously they don't want to come on the program. I don't know why. That's fine. That's their prerogative. I don't pay my guests, so they can do what they want. So no, the interviews are not continuing seeking the truth. They're not coming on the program right now. Yeah, common sense, I agree. Okay, Damien Schultz. They owe you an interview based on what you've done for everyone. Sorry, Colonel, you say book your interview as soon as I land. Yep, cool, thanks. Appreciate the 140 Rand chat, Damien Schultz. Yeah, CEO is not well, exactly. How many gods can us mods serve equally? At least 10% will follow those links. Thankfully, I'm not here to be Mr. Popularity, says Chris Swanepoel. Eric Estrada. What about Eric Estrada? He's a great guy. Nice guy. Met him here in Pennsylvania. Came to the Pennsylvania State Fair. Nice guy. People are crapheads, says Flying Dutchman. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, but if I never get guests on here, that affects the quality of the program. So, Savage Star says, I know about the media gathering in London next month. Got my ticket. Yeah, I have to figure out what I'm going to do, okay? Because that adds time. I also got to double check that I'm still clear. I had cleared with the consulting gig that I have at the War College the times that I could go to the Rugby World Cup. But that is a little bit earlier than the Rugby World Cup, so I'm not going to fly there and come back and fly there and come back. That's a huge waste of resources. So, Hot has been here from the start of your program tonight. You put a lot of effort in keeping us up to date. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Oh, J.D. Vance broke the 50-50 deadlock. That's what you guys were saying. Okay. All right, for the big, beautiful bill. So 3 Republicans defecting. I wonder who they were. Let's take a look and see. Google. Let's see who broke from ranks. Lisa Murkowski. Probably. Susan Collins. Yep. And who's the other one? Tom Tillis, probably. Let's see. 50-50. Okay,
On
here.
this vote, the yeas are 50.
Okay, so come on. Here we go.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
There you go. So the Senate's passed it, but that doesn't mean anything, guys. Let's go back to the House of Representatives now because it was marked up by the Senate. Or we just want to sleep without weapons next to bed. I got you. I've been, okay, why are you still my taxis? Yeah. No, we talked about at the beginning of this broadcast, folks. We talked about, look, it's very frustrating here. What's going on? Very frustrating. Because South Africa's government is completely clueless. And I'm not going to sit here and cover for these guys and defend them and pretend that things are going well. The South African government and members of the Democratic Alliance are still running around talking about the African Growth and Opportunity Act. It's gone. It's gone. They're gaslighting you. And if they're talking to people in Washington about that act, they don't know who they're talking to. It's gone. It's gone. The reason why they didn't want to do the interview is because Colonel would want the receipts. I don't know. Look, guys, don't disparage them. They're good people. They're good people. They've been helpful to me in the past. I've been helpful to them. It just didn't work out, and they forgot about me. That's frustrating. That's frustrating. Everything now is a reality show for any politician when they stop forcing these people to do their jobs and they get paid to. Yeah, exactly. Start making them do their jobs. It's all a reality show. Yep. So the big, beautiful bill now will go to the House of Representatives and they'll vote on it. If they vote on it, it'll go to the president. And then Elon Musk has said, now let's see what Elon Musk does now because the bill's not approved. He doesn't have to take action now and people can't call him on the carpet because they'll say, well, you were going to do something if it got passed. Well, it hasn't been passed. It's been passed by the Senate. By the Senate. Live in Seattle. Don't own a gun. Sometimes you get to lock the front door. Well, you can have Seattle. Wackadoodle town. Seattle, last time it was good, in my view, was the mid-90s. Since then, nope. Gordon's out here. See you tomorrow, Gordon. Okay. All right. So, yeah, anyway. So they're on business. Anyway. Well, I'm not going to beg for interviews. I've made it clear that I want to interview them, and they don't want to talk to me about this, or they've forgotten about me. One of the two. So that's on them. That's their decision. CJ, I don't support the whole bill. I don't believe in increasing the debt ceiling by a record amount. I don't agree in that. I agree in cuts, and the cuts would come to Social Security and Medicare, which means I can't get elected. But it also means that I have common sense. Yeah. Trump isn't really going to private South Africa because Trump is still dealing with a multitude of... Exactly, Mark. That's what I've said from the very beginning. People think South Africa is important. It's not. It's not even important to the world. Do you think South Africa is a priority for Beijing? For Moscow? For Havana? For Tehran? No. Everyone else has bigger issues in South Africa. South Africa has been allowed to get away with all kinds of crap, the government there, because no one's paying attention. Yeah, Helen Zilla was talking about AGOA. That was on Biz News. I read that. I saw that. AGOA's gone. Slept with a Glock under the pillow and an AR within close reach, says JP in audio. That's crazy. Yaku Ruas, how's it going, man? What's my analysis of the big, beautiful bill? The only hope for the big, beautiful bill, in my view, is if the tax cuts spur sufficient economic growth over the next 3 years to make up for the lost revenue. Which was very, very possible, but it's a what if. It's an if, so it's in this environment, I'm not sure. It's a huge bill, and it's too many pages. I could create a bill that's 10 pages or less that accomplishes far more, but that's just my thoughts on it. So, what are you drinking there, GTA? I don't know where gas is $1.98 a gallon. It's not that here. It's $3 a gallon here. So, what countries approached USA and reached agreements? Britain's the only one that I'm aware of. Learned in life, if you are honest and the right track, you always get attacked by the lying scum at the end. Yeah, it's true. I thought she said John Steenhuisen, Freya Menzel, but whatever the case is, that's Balderdash. That's Balderdash. See, this is publicly available information. It's in the news media. That's Balderdash. because Trump imposed. See, I mean, these politicians take us for fools. We were all here when Trump imposed the reciprocal tariffs. I was in South Africa. I remember it. It was in April. No, I'm sorry, I wasn't. I was here. I'm sorry, I was here. I hadn't gone to South Africa. I went to South Africa the next week. Sorry, Mr. I was here. That's what I said in the first place. I was here. He imposed the reciprocal tariffs on the 3rd or 4th of April, globally. Lesotho, 98% or something like that. In South Africa, 31%. Andrew Whitfield and John Steenhuisen had nothing to do with 10% tariffs. That's balderdash. That's poppycock. That's bogus. And I heard Helen Zilla say that. That's utter nonsense. Trump, after Japan and South Korea immediately sent, they were on the plane within 8 hours, if I recall correctly. They put them on planes. They flew to America. They came over and they immediately began to earnestly engage in trade negotiations with the U.S. Trump, that and a lot of pushback from the world. A couple of days later said, okay, you know what? I'm going to pause it. We're going to keep the tariffs on steel. We're going to keep the tariffs on aluminum. We're going to keep the tariffs on automobiles at 25% or what it was. But everything else, for everybody else, we'll lower it to 10% for 90 days. Trump did that. Not Whitfield, not Steenhuisen, not Parks Tao, not Cyril Ramaphosa, and not Ronnie Lamola. Helen is smoking her socks. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. How are we supposed to believe that those people contacted Trump within 2 or 3 days of those reciprocal tariffs being put in place and lowering 10%? Total nonsense. Do you see how you're gaslit by politicians? I mean, what kind of fools do they take us for? I'm not making this up. Do your own research. Don't believe me. Do a search. Look for the date that Trump did the reciprocal tariffs. Find the date that the reciprocal tariffs. Then find the date that he lowered it to 10% globally, except on certain tariffs like steel, automobiles, and aluminum. Do it. Find it. It's in the media. And then show me where anyone from the South African government was negotiating with the Trump team at that time. Nobody was. Not a single person. What would they be negotiating with? There were no tariffs put on South Africa before that. And then just 2 or 3 days later, they were lowered to 10%. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They take you for suckers. They take you for fools. And I get this, you hate the DA. I don't hate the DA. I hate liars. I hate people who mislead people. Yes, South Africa, Freya, will find out the truth on the 9th of July. Trump's sending letters. You're going to get your Dear Cyril letter. Yeah, they were too busy making jokes like, Dean McPherson laughing about dim the lights. They think they'll fix AGOA as everything else. Yeah, they're not going to fix anything. Well, thank you, Sumari, but my point is you don't have to believe me. You can check this. Let's do a quick search. Let's do a quick search, okay? Let's go to Trump imposes reciprocal tariffs. This does this by, let me do it. I don't want Google News because it goes back to the recent stuff. I want Google, so let me get Google. You'll find the older stuff. So Trump April 2nd. April 2nd. Trump imports reciprocal tariff to rectify trade. April 4th. Trump imposes 10% global tariff and higher. Okay, and then I got Trump pauses reciprocal tariffs. Okay. Modifying reciprocal tariff rates to reflect trading. 90 days beginning at 12:01 April 10th. There you go. All right, so Trump first announced this here on April 2nd. Executive order rectifying imports of reciprocal tariff to rectify trade practices that contribute to large, persistent annual United States goods trade deficits. April 2nd. He imposed it. Okay. Then modifying the tariffs on April 9th, 1 week later. 1 week later. In the executive order dated 8 April, I modified the harmonized trade schedule. On the 9th, the State Tariff Council. There you go. Paused it for 90 days. Here it is. So, after 12:01 Eastern Daylight Time on 10th of April, and that we're not in transit mode, will be subject to these tariffs. There you go. There's the receipts. There's the receipts. So I'm not making this up. So you tell me when between April 2nd and April 9th, the South African government approached Donald Trump. Was Andrew Whitfield here in America talking to Trump on those dates? And how did South Africa, of all the countries that have insulted America and that have terror and have barriers against American trade, how were they able to get in the door and talk to the Trump administration and convince Trump to lower it across the world? They didn't lower it for South Africa, they lowered it for the world. Just nonsense, folks. Nonsense. Oh, Rex, I got attacked by those people left and right. The flying monkeys from the DA sycophant crowd attacked me because I spoke the truth. Oh, you're anti-DA. Anti-DA. I told people to vote for the DA a couple years ago, but they're not going to get away with BS. We're not going to let them get away with lies. The scientist says, I don't think USA is South Africa's biggest trading partner, so maybe it will not have a big effect. Are you serious? Are you serious? United States is the second largest trading partner. Historically, U.S. has forever been the largest trading partner with South Africa. But in the past decade, China surpassed us. But China doesn't buy cars from you. China doesn't buy your high-value products with the benefication in South Africa. China buys titanium in raw form, unprocessed. They buy coal in raw form, shipped to Port Richards and shipped out. Or Richards Bay, excuse me, not Port Richards Bay. They buy commodities from you and ship you finished goods, leading to a massive trade deficit. South Africa, most important trading partner, the scientists, is the United States. Do your research. A big trade surplus with the United States, and South Africa makes Proc's entire product from raw ore to a finished automobile, and all the parts constituent that go inside are manufactured in South Africa, creating jobs in a wide network in the economy and shipping those 25,533 cars to the United States every year, generating $2 billion in revenue alone from the automotive industry for South Africa, covering 141,000 jobs in the automotive sector in South Africa alone. That's just the automobile industry. Then for the people that sell Checkers and Pick and Pay and Ster-Kinekor and spaza shops and tuck shops and petrol stations like Astron and Caltex and all the others, Markham's, Edgar's, all the places you go, all the rents you pay, all the taxes you pay, all of that spins off that automotive industry, affecting hundreds of thousands of more jobs. So, won't have a big impact? No. Going to be devastating. Devastating. Sorry to say, but all Southern politicians will lie and say anything to get us to vote for them. They can't change anything. Yeah, it's so disappointing. So this point, petrol prices go up. Sure, I would have to know what that happened because I follow your news, says Steve. Okay. Okay, the music, awesome. Okay. Unfortunately, what's this? Good luck selling your home. Deeds office is closed. Unfortunately, BB has been diluted because the rhinos that cap on U.S. debt has been eroded. Always follow the money. Yeah, so I haven't said, that's a good point, Chris. I haven't seen the final result. They were negotiating all night, so who knows what it says. And I would definitely do an anonymous interview, says Helen, okay? The free money to bring about research. Oh, yeah. You remember, okay, the ANC. Remember when the aid was suspended because of the actions of Cyril Ramaphosa? And then the first response was, well, it's the Americans only contribute 17% of the money for the fight against HIV. This will have minimal impact. Really? Really? So we find out that virtually every penny that's used for surveillance and monitoring of people with HIV is paid for by the American taxpayer. Whole system has collapsed. Thousands of people without jobs. But the Americans don't matter. It's just a little bit of money. Now we're finding that virtually every significant research project of any significance at all in South Africa's universities is funded almost entirely by the U.S. taxpayer. It's all collapsing. Now they're going to the South African government and demanding billions of rand to cover the research because the Americans aren't footing the bill anymore. Oh, but America doesn't matter. We don't need this. What a bunch of nonsense. What a bunch of nonsense. Mark, they manufacture Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Volkswagens, all in South Africa. Yep. It's common with the car factories shutting down. Yep. Like all cars except Chinese. Okay, Cloud Strike. How long? What's this? Somebody bought a Buffalo? Let me dumb this down. If you increase the amount on imports, then you increase the money paid to the state. It's simple and works. Yeah, South Africa's already feeling pressure, common sense. You're right. It's already happening. We even manufacture Boeing parts there. That's correct. Car exports to the USA dropped by 25. That was before this was even applied. This was a couple months ago. Yep. The Minister of Esdom says that they don't get the money owed by municipalities a chance. The whole grid collapse. Yep. I don't know do they manufacture Toyotas in South Africa? That's something I don't know about. But they manufacture VWs, Mercedes, and BMWs. Rough ride. Wherever I think the 9th of July deadline, I panic. Government feels nothing for the people. I agree with you, Lynette. I hate nobody, but John's children are very important, not ours. They allowed no property rights, 145 race laws, inciting violence without a peep, and they continue threatening us. Yep. Money paid the U.S. state is exponential until you make a deal. What else? The only logical reason I can see why they're not chasing after trade agreement with the U.S. is because they already have one with China. Not going to pick up the slack, guys. Not going to happen. Renee says farm attack's a big scam. There's a lot more than people realize. No, I'm aware of it, Renee, and I report on them when I get verifiable information. Our one qualified pilot is currently on his way to the U.S. with a full trade delegation. ETA 15 July. He who controls KFC controls South Africa. Well, what about Chicken Licken, man? Don't forget about Chicken Licken. ENCA says 56 million over 14 million people could die from U.S. foreign aid cuts. Well, I think that's exaggeration, but yes, it's true. Car companies negotiate U.S. trade tariffs themselves. No, they can't do that. They can't do that. Yeah, we talked about Mercedes closing earlier, Gary. They were crying over how many millions are going to die and how many of those children because South Africa is suspending aid. They don't say that America were only supposed to help for 5 years. That's right, Karen. That's right. They don't say that for 17 years, South Africa's government has been negligent while they stole trillions of rand. They stole PPE money. They stole IMF money. They stole World Bank money. They stole African Development Bank money. They stole taxpayer money. Vreda Dairy Farm. Itaquini. Sandile Gumeda. The asbestos tender. Digital Vibes. PPE. The list goes on and on and on. These are the ones we know about. How many trillions of rand have been stolen we don't even know about? They murder whistleblowers like Babita Deokaran. Say her name. Say her name. Babita Deokaran. And for you racists that attack me and call me a racist with no substantiation, you don't even remember Babita Deokaran, who was murdered after dropping her daughter off at school. Drove home and murdered in a hail of bullets. Why? Because she happened to found an accountant error or accountant irregularity. An accountant, she turned it in. She found an accounting irregularity and turned it in. And for that, they murdered Babita Deokaran. The list goes on and on. Whistleblowers whose lives are in jeopardy in South Africa, while gangsters run around and get away with impunity. And politicians get away with impunity. Stuffing money in furniture at game ranches. Violating customs law. Violating currency regulations. Then perverting the means of justice. No criminal charges. Getting garages for their family members through the Digital Vibes deal. No criminal charges. Simply resigning as health minister. Sick. Company works close to Ford, and when I say they're in trouble, believe it. A lot of branches have been closed down. Yep. Toyota plant is in Durban. Okay, thank you for that. I think I actually did know that. Yeah, because that's where all the Toyotas were wiped out, where they're sitting there waiting to be shipped by the floods. Yeah, okay. I knew that. I knew that, Charles. I'm drawing a blank there. Okay, Goodyear's closing down yet? Well, and all of the refineries were shut down. Finally, the one in Cape Town reopened. They're all shut down. You have to import your refined crude products, driving up the price. Said Tuesday we consider deporting Elon after... What? That's nonsense. I bought 2 VWs of some kind, relatives. Okay. Very scary when it's closed and people know it's coming. All those left-hand drive Ford Rangers assembled in Silverton go to the U.S. Exactly. Exactly. I didn't know we got Rangers, but I know we get Fords from there. Apart from the arms, pharma, financial is the only winner in the crap in the wars. Yep. Yes, you have 35 years. Who needs help? Huh? Cannot help but laugh at Zilla's pretending John made sure the tariffs. Yeah, exactly, Gordon. I mean, Gideon, they take us for fools. The forensic auditor in Carolini's been murdered. See, there you go. There you go. The gangsters rule. Additional revenue loss: Toyota Hilux, Toyota Corolla Cross, BMW X3, Mercedes C-Class, Volkswagen Polo, Ford Ranger. Additionally, Isuzu, Mahindra, and Nissan also. Well, they did manufacture, but they're not manufacturing anymore, right? Yeah, I actually had that story. We never got to that, did we? We never got to all the news. Did we? No, I had that thing about the Transformers. Maybe I didn't put it up there. Any idea what the tariffs would be exporting crocodiles? No idea. Trump mentioned that in his Truth Social. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't see it in Truth Social, so I must have missed it. Let me go see. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me go back to Truth Social. Trump. Diplomacy, Gavin Newsom, Tuppers, Trump, Senate, President Trump, immigration. Why am I not getting just Trump? I just want Donald Trump. Oh. We go home. Profile. Home. Why is Donald Trump not showing up on my board? That's Trump Jr. What the hell? I'm not seeing Trump on here for some reason. Come on. Okay, real Donald Trump. It says I'm following him. Okay, ICE, immigration. Oh, come on, take me to Trump's account, damn it. I hate this. It is his account, but then he got other stuff here. Real America. Oh, he retweeted that. Okay. I'm looking here. I don't see anything. Fact sheet. 6 hours ago. I see nothing on Elon Musk. That looks like... Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oh, it's 13 hours ago. That's why. Okay. 13 hours ago. Okay. Oh, there you go. Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against EV mandate. It's ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than a human being in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production. Our country would save a fortune. Perhaps he should have Doge take. He's not threatening to deport him. He's not threatening to deport him. See, that's fake news. That's fake news. That's not true.
Here is your message. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Has been lifted, however, you are to remain in your building until further.
Shelter in place is over for the exercise. Okay. What's with Savage? What happened with Savage? I don't see anything from Savage. Well, Loretta's strength, there's nothing to stop you, but why would you want to come here and not be American? Why would you not want to be American? So we should import aliens and let them have their distinct cultures and not be part of society? Is that what you're arguing for? We have that problem with people from Latin America. But we do have communities that do stay integrated, you know, but contribute to society, like the Amish and the old Spanish families of New Mexico and Arizona. Mark, should be $10. Happy 4th upcoming. Yeah, 4th of July. Yeah, I forgot about that. Just a couple days away. JP, my dear, you can assimilate, but that doesn't mean you abandon your culture. I mean, you know, you can hold on to your culture. Look at Italian Americans. They hold on to that. Michael Dunhin, evening. I sent you an email. It's not urgent. Okay, thank you. Okay. Auntie Floyd's back. Good to see you again. So tired of this broken system. Yep. U.S. Border Micey. Hey, what's up? If you don't want to assimilate, you shouldn't come here. That's U.S. Border Micey. 1440. Do you usually go into someone else's house and rearrange furniture? Exactly. The large house completely filled up before ICE teams arrived there. I don't know, Holden. That whole thing is weird. The Green Mamba passports. Forcer went live yesterday on their stream. Title says Iran calling for attacks, and yes, do they want to attack us with flags? I don't know that. We used to say every year something was going backwards. Then we said monthly, and then we say weekly. Now we say hourly. Nikki Wen. If I weren't following this channel, I wouldn't know these truths. There's so much that's being hidden from us. Yep. There is, Nikki. There's so much that's being hidden. And if and when YouTube censors me again, then you'll have to follow me on some other platform. Yeah. But what you need to do is watch my Twitter account, because I'll post it on Twitter account if I get censored again. Yep. But we can do it within the walls of our homes and with other... Exactly. You don't have to make totally isolated communities. You can keep your heritage and defend it. You should teach your kids Afrikaans if you speak Afrikaans. If you speak Tswana, you should teach your kids Tswana. Absolutely. Immigration is already causing civil wars in Europe, Ruben. That's already happening, man. Yes, I know they've created an app to track ICE agents. These people are facilitating criminal activity, endangering the lives of government actors. These are people who work for a living, who defend the Constitution. They're being undermined by these scumbags. Something needs to be done to those people. Can't even get to sell your house. Yeah, well, if you're in Joburg, good luck with that. I know people's houses have been on the market for nearly 2 years. Nobody wants to buy it. I could walk into Joburg right now and get a really nice place for a very reasonable price, but who wants to live there? Even Santon, hard to sell a lot of properties. Listening to an American to get the truth about Savage, yeah. Savage daughter. Let's invite U.S. interventionists, study this. Yeah, well, we got other things on our plate. Yeah, they're offering counter get-togethers in Texas and North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Teresa Mustard, happy 4th of July, 35 rand. Could you please advise when Bob's feature-length film will start production? I don't know. Anyway, history on Sudan. Their flag looks like a Palestinian flag. History of Sudan. I don't think anybody wants to hear about history of Sudan. It's pretty ugly. Going back to the colonial era, going back to the Egyptians. What is a votorama? It's just a phrase. They're going around voting for amendments to the bill. That's what that was. That's all. If you're not lazy in American land, if you're not lazy in America, you'll do great. Why buy property in South Africa when the government gives them away free? Yeah, you just steal them, Steve. You just rock up and claim it's yours. Stick a chair in the yard and go, this is my house. Equal Odyssey would be an American heartbeat. Well, that's cool. Thank you for that. We appreciate that so much. Anyway, guys, 2.5 hours. Wow, the time goes by when you're having fun. We peaked at 1,100 people, and we're back down to 740. No, sorry. Expat, look whom I follow. Hey, Art Queen Liza, what's going on? What? J.P. Smith called for the guy with... What? What are you talking about there, Amanda Cooper? What's that? Big ups to USA for being proactive, referring to possible chemical attacks by sleeper cells. Oh, no, that's a training exercise. I told you guys, that's a training exercise. That was just telling me the exercise is over. I'm on the DoD alert system. Still on it. UK, Advance UK. Are you being serious? Advance UK, is that a real thing? I will check it out if it's a real thing. Advance UK party. Okay. Okay. There was an Advance Together party. Advance UK is something new. Introducing Advance UK. Let's check it out, folks. What a new party and why. Okay. First 30,000 receive a discounted rate of £10 for the first year of membership. So you got to pay to be part of the party. Well, I'm not interested. What's your mission? Build a proud, independent, prosperous, stand for a nation, democracy, equality under law. Structure. Members, the college, leadership, board of directors, branches. Our nation is crumbling. Constitution eroded. Very existence of a free and sovereign people hangs in the balance. Reform UK are currently polling at 30%. So what are you hoping to achieve? Aim to be elected as the next government of the UK and we invite people to believe in our country to join us. Well, good luck with that. That's pretty big, bold hope. I don't know. UK needs monarchism instead of political parties, says Pablo Charlie. I can maybe buy a small property and live in a caravan. Then my land and everything can be expropriated without. Exactly. Guy who has a political party in Cape Town, he is Afrikaans, said that JP is calling for his death. Who? You talking about the Cape Color Congress? Is that what you're talking about? The National Color Congress? Is that what you're talking about? Social plans only join now. Well, Vanna Kruger, we're going to wrap up now. No, Russia's not going to sell those missiles to Iran. Loretta Shank. No, I'd love to integrate to be an American. However, I think to start a new life in a country would be difficult at first. What's easier? No, it's not hard. It's not that hard. I mean, there are challenges, but it's not that hard. If you're going to do it, this is much easier than most places. Number one, here's a little news flash. Okay? In America, you're not legally required to carry identification. Most every country in the world, you have to have identification on you at all times. America, you're not required to carry identification. America, you're not required to register your residence with the police. Do you know in Germany you have to register with police when you move to a location? If you don't, you can go to jail. Well, they don't do that to illegal immigrants, but if it's a German, if you don't register with the police at your residence so the police know where you're at, yeah, they track everyone's residence, the police. So you don't need to carry ID. You don't have to register police. You know you can travel all across the country, anywhere you want, by plane, train, automobile, and no one can stop you. Did you know that? There's no internal checks. You can go from Maine to Miami, Miami to San Diego, San Diego to Seattle, Seattle back to Maine. No one can stop you. You have a legal right to do that. Did you know that in America, anyone can start a business at any age? Do you know a 15-year-old can start a business, register a business in the country? Wow. Yeah, that's America, man. That's America. That's freedom. Yep. And we used to have freedom of speech, but our speech is still guaranteed. But we saw the Biden regime violate the Constitution by using tech companies as agents of the federal government to silence speech they didn't like about COVID, silence speech they didn't like about immigration, and things that were said about Sleepy Joe Biden, the creepy bastard who ran this country. Well, he was asleep most of the time. And so we have free speech under the Constitution, but we had serial violations of the Constitution during the Biden regime. Now, people are saying, well, Twitter and Facebook and X and all that stuff. Well, that's not freedom of speech. Those are private entities. You enter into an agreement with them. If they violate the agreement, which YouTube did against me, then you can sue them. But I'm not wealthy, so I can't sue YouTube. So they got away with it. Do you not have to have a driver's license when driving a vehicle? Yes, Vernon, but I didn't say driving vehicle, did I? I can get in a car and go from here to Utah to visit Courtney without identification. Now, that's going to be difficult in some things, like sometimes you check in a hotel, sometimes they want to see ID, not all require it. So if you don't have it, that's going to be a little hard. But I don't need it to use my credit card. Used to be, it was a time when 30, 40 years ago, a lot of times you use credit card, they want to see photo ID. No one even asks anymore. Yep. And I don't need to cross state lines. I don't have to have an ID. Operating a motor vehicle is not traveling. I can travel on a train without ID. I just have to have a ticket. Now, a plane is the different. You have to have ID for plane. I misspoke there. I misspoke. You have to have real ID for plane. That's put in place because of 9/11. Yep. I think all states require you to carry insurance. Why would you not have insurance? Why would you not have insurance, Days of Thunder? And you have to have a registered vehicle. Vehicle must be registered. You must have an operator's license, and you must have insurance, and you must be roadworthy. Your vehicle must be roadworthy. But people get away without having those things all the time. Lots of people who have DUIs and don't have a license drive cars illegally. Lots of people drive with expired insurance and endanger the public. And lots of people do other things, not have expired registration. Speaking of which, I have to renew my registration in August and September for my vehicles. Yep. Jesse's got a birthday? Okay. Well, Jesse, I didn't see it, but I'll take it based on what people are saying that you got a birthday. So let's give you a happy birthday cake. So happy birthday to Jesse. See, we got a lot more people watching the show now, so we've got more birthdays popping up. It used to be an occasional thing, but now all the time we got birthdays. So happy birthday to Jesse. What year and model is your Toyota V8? 2004. 2004. It was $48,000 on the lot. I paid $38,000. My interest rate on the loan was 1.75% on my loan. Paid 1.75% on my loan. Other people are paying 5.5% to 6% at the time, but because of my credit history, I got it 1.75%. Also, I was in the Army, so it was guaranteed they're going to get a check. So you're welcome, Jesse. Fine print on receiving 350 COVID grant days. If you move, you had to notify the police. No end date. Also had to make all your past current financial records available third party. Yeah, no thanks. African delegation was in the White House last week, and they have named some of the people they met with. When did they name them, Wild Mountain? Where did they name them? Where did they name them? On business? I was supposed to have an interview with them last week. Didn't happen. Oh, that V8's wonderful. On the business. That's what I thought. Well, that came on while I was live. That was aired while I was live. So y'all watching that instead of watching me. Rihanna Uman, I can't answer that question. We have all kinds of police. We don't have a national police force. The FBI are not a national police force. They're a national investigating agency. They have law enforcement officers. We have local police. We have county sheriffs. We have regional police. We have state police troopers. We have park police. We have congressional police. We have all kinds of police forces, probably 750, 900,000 law enforcement officers across this country. New York City is the largest police force in the world with 30 or 45,000 police officers, something like that. So I can't answer that question. You would have to check with the jurisdiction where you want to become a law enforcement officer. I can tell you this, Brigadier General, drawing a blank now, in New Hampshire, Don Bolduc. Brigadier General Don Bolduc, our friend of the channel, retired Special Forces General, in his 60s, wanted to be a police officer, reserve police officer. So he enrolled in the police academy for New Hampshire, and he completed the course with all the 20-year-olds, including the physical fitness, and is now a reserve police officer in New Hampshire. So yeah, you should be able to do that. Should be able to do that. But I can't answer specifically. Video about Afghan refugee who ended up pulling a gun on the officers that pulled him over, and he never made it. He was disgruntled and already in trouble. Costco shopping hauls on YouTube when not watching. Yeah, I don't get too excited about Costco, but I used to be. But it's too far away. Too far away. It's like 50 kilometers from here. A U.S. Marshal is a type of national police. No, that's not exactly right. That's not exactly right. That's one of their roles. The U.S. Marshal Service is there for a lot of reasons. Yep. And counterfeiting, things like that. So, yep, lots of roles. They're there to transport prisoners. Marshal Service. They're not necessarily essentially a police force. You're implying with your statement, Holden, that they're a police force. They're not a police force as such. You don't pick up the phone and call the Marshal Service. You don't pick up the phone and call the park police. Well, you do if you're in a national park. You pick up the phone and call 911, which routes you to local police, township police, regional police, county sheriff, or in some cases, the highway patrol. Of course, there's an age restriction, Melissa. Every police force. I just said I can't answer that question because every of the hundreds of thousand different jurisdictions are different. So I can't answer that question. You have to inquire which one you want to join. Inkwell says business is boring except when I'm there. Thanks for that. Yep. All right. Well, I guess I have to watch the business thing now to react. Since I didn't get the interview with those guys, I'll have to react. Well, Corney Mulder said he'll make a plan with me. Well, that's great, but it's a little. Oh my goodness. I'm just writing back to somebody here. What is with this stupid thing? It's not L-I-T-T. One letter. Terrible spell check in WhatsApp. If you wrote one letter off, it gets wrong all the time. Anyway. All right. Chris and also Neil DeBear on Sunday chat watching it. Yeah, Neil is entertaining. Yep. Who's shaving their legs? Okay. Good God, you type fast. I do, Amanda. Well, I used to have 70 and 90 words per minute on a typewriter. Yeah, I took up typing in high school. I took it because I figured I needed it in business. I mean, it was mostly girls in the class, but some guys were smart enough to take typing class. And it turned out I was right. I had no idea I'd spend much of my life on computers. So I learned to type. But I get messed up with German keyboards because they're all weird. The ASDF JKL semicolon, the QWERTY keyboard we use is the one I know. But I hate this mechanical keyboard. I need to get a better one. So anyway, the only reason I keep it is because I like the colors on it. Man, it's federal law enforcement manager retirement at 57, so hiring 37 under 20-year time. That's federal law enforcement, Jesse. But county sheriffs are not federal law enforcement. State troopers are not federal law enforcement. Yeah, and local jurisdictions where you elect a sheriff. You know, Joe Arpaio was in his 70s as a sheriff. So, yeah, anyway. Sure going to give good news or surprise at some stage when I get sidetracked with an email, or did I miss it? No, Truth Seeker. I said that I was contacted by email. Someone wanted to interview me. Well, it wasn't quite true. CNN wants me to give them access to refugees. They don't want to talk to me. You almost failed typing in school. You must have been watching the girls. All right. Okay, guys, that's it. 2.5 hours. We're going to wrap it up, and we're going to play that one more time. That was just brilliant. Let me see if this is it. No, that's not it. We're going to play the car guard thing again. That was just awesome. Okay, now where's it at now? Here it is. All right, here we go. We're going to go out with this. Enjoy this. It's car guards, and Lee put this together. Here we go. All right, wrap it up. We're going to do it now.
Down by the lot near the old cafe where the sun fries cars all night and day, there's a wild crew doing what they do. Yeah, you know them, the parking lot crew. Refugees with moves so tight, waving cars in left and right. 10 ways to say, yo, park that straight. 12 for bro, you're 20 late. Neanderthals in safety vests, snack in hand, but doing their best. One grunted loud, broke out in a jig. Turns out he just wants a parking gig. Canines bark like they run the block. Chased a drone down, beat the clock. One gave change with a tail wag spin. That dog's got tips and a toothy grin. Who you gonna call when the lot gets loud? Parking cones up and they're drawing a crowd. Whistles blow and the scooters fly. It's the parking crew and the riding high. From the streets of town to the lot bazaar, they'll guard your ride like a superstar. Yeah, from Joe's streets to America, it's the funky, fearless parking lot crew. Car guard shout near the garbage bin. Who parks scale? You let them in. They blow their whistles in perfect time, like a backup band with a traffic sign. Then here comes Wyatt, the colonel boss. Duct tape boots and a look that's sauce. Rides a scooter with flashing beams. Salutes pigeons, yells at ice cream. Men, dogs, apes from a line. No dents, no scrapes, no overtime. If they park like chaos, made a plan. Fight them twice and be the man. Who's got the beat in a vested hat? Parking legends funky like that. Guard your eye with soul and flair, and a hi-fi breeze in the summer air. From this lie here to America, it's the wild, proud parking lot crew.